everybody, and welcome back to another Nextlander podcast. Ooh, boy, howdy, Alex Navarro.
Boy, howdy, Vinny Carabella. How y'all doing out there?
Warm.
Yeah.
Brett Shoemaker.
What persona are you trying to effect right
I have no idea.
Not sure.
It's a little, ooh, boy, just shake it all out.
I do declare.
Maybe a little, maybe something from the Raising Arizona milieu.
All right.
Yeah.
Vaguely southwestern.
Just
a bit folksy.
Yeah. Try not my dour exasperated, trying to be chipper for the podcast. Look, we're not gonna get into it, but I feel like in my world, in my worldview, I'm the hero of my story. Everybody is, right? I'm a fairly normal dude. I've got weird things. I look at weird shit, right? I do weird stuff, but I pay taxes. I follow the rules. I generally believe in a society, right?
There is a regularity to you, yes.
I try to be courteous, kind, and respect people around me.
Fulfill your civic obligations.
In general.
Social contract, all of that.
Yeah, you do your shit, I'll do my shit. You want to go do your shit, that's fine. I don't agree with it, but that's fine. We're all going to do the thing.
I don't have to like everyone's shit.
I just feel like not enough people out there. I don't see enough heads exploding sometimes about what is just going on out there. And so I just want to reach out to our audience and say, if you feel that way, I'm with you. I'm also with you. There's just been recent stuff that has come up, let's say, in the past week or so. More stuff that has piled on in ways that you just think would make something break. Right?
Break is the word. I was just sitting here thinking it's been a big week for feeling like people are breaking out there.
And
from what I'm seeing,
you expect it to. I'm particularly talking about in the U.S., but I know worldwide there are breaking points. And I wake up in the morning and I expect there to be accountability. Somebody, a grown up in the room, just saying like, "All right, come on, you just can't do that." And what I see are like, well, we're gonna have to ask a lot of questions, or there's gonna have to be a. Well,
you're saying maybe the wheels of justice are not keeping up with the current times.
What I'm saying is, like, I'm saying beyond any kind of normalcy, we have just hit points where I just feel like everybody would turn around and be like, I'm saying we're beyond. There's multiple horses in the hospital is what I'm saying. We are way beyond. Okay. We are like,
I mean, even one is too many horses in a hospital, honestly.
We are just, and I just want to share that if you're listening to this, because some of it feels crazy making, and just know that you're not alone out there, okay?
I think the only thing I would add to that is you don't always know. People's head exploding situations could be happening in private at home, away from everyone else. You know, there's lots of head exploding that happens not in public, and believe me, my head has been exploding more or less for the last 18 to 24 months. So
yeah, my beef specifically is with those in power, the ones we look to for leadership. Should just be goo on the walls at this point, right? With the amount of head exploding, and that. The normalizing of some of these things that feels like goes on out there rattles me in a way that I feel like I probably am not alone out there. But
you think by now it should be looking like the end of Scanners is what you're saying.
what I think really what I expect is a pair of striped, like, stockinged legs that you can't see the rest of, like Nanny from the Muppet Babies, just walking in and being like, okay, all right, you're done.
Gonzo, you've done enough. We're done here.
Totally. Like, okay, how'd you get in here? Are you wearing a suit? What happened? Anyway, I just had to get that off my chest. It's been a week. Hey, I'll switch gears to something that is not as dire.
That's probably good. I thought we were on the verge of going full network or maybe
mad as
or
hell.
maybe, or maybe Jim Cramer, Mad Money. That in the moments, like we're about to. This podcast is about to pivot to something entirely different. And it will never be the same, and may kick off a widespread social movement. I don't know.
Oh my gosh!
Ned Beatty is about to pull me into a room and extol the virtues of capitalism to me and explain to me how the media really works.
And look, I'm glad. I want to get in here and do this because there's also like a lot of tragedy happening in the world, and like all of this other stuff wrapped up in what I feel like is a real sense of like things don't feel like they're accountable. But particularly, it just feels like people are the grift is happening, and the normal folks out there are like, "Hey, we all know we're getting scammed, right?" And nobody's just being like, "Yeah, I think we're being taken." So,
yeah.
Anyway, I switching gears here, grinding gears here.
My
dog got hit.
Okay.
My dog got hit by a skunk. My dog got. Skunked.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, let me complain for a minute.
You should have phrased that differently, because for a hot second I was about to be like, oh no. I mean, hit by a skunk is no good, but dog hit by usually has a different thing at the end. Yeah.
Dog, okay. So
Smooth criminal.
Yeah. This is like going to be a long story for a short payoff here.
Okay.
So bear with me for a second here.
Stinky dog.
Yeah, and don't worry, it ends with stinky dog.
Okay.
So, I haven't been getting a ton of sleep because things are a little bit better now. Kirby, my dog, needs a surgery, right?
Mm-hmm.
He needs his doggy ACL. They call it a CCL because they have too many damn knees and pivot points. I don't know why. But anyway, it is blown out. He was a star quarterback. He was a star running back. And, whatever. We had gone to the vet.
I mean, he's about 8 years old, right? That's about
7.
the length of an average, or 7.
Yeah,
so I mean, I'd say that's about an average running back NFL career. So that tracks.
I mean, he is kind of thick like a running back, but like we had been going to the vet for a while, and the vet was like, he has arthritis. That's what this is, and he probably does have arthritis, right? But we eventually went to another vet because we're like, this is like really escalating to a point. Vet was like, oh no, he's like got a blown CCL. You're up to you.
He needs work.
It's up to, of course, it's the vet. So they're like, well, and here's one of my first points. The vet for pet healthcare was like very clear up front how much this might cost, right? Like, hey, I can't say for sure. Here's the estimated cost. At the end of this particular vet visit, somebody came in and put the entire bill up on the screen and then walk through the bill we had just gone and was like, if you have any questions, you feel free to ask. Like, here are the x-rays that were taken. Here was this that was done. Here was this. And I just didn't, my mind was somewhere else as they're going through it, because I was really, where it was why don't we do this for humans? Why don't we just have somebody come in and
accounting of what all the things are going to be?
Yeah. How come this comes like 6 months later in my mail and it was like, hey, you owe $14,000 to this hospital. We thought it cost $300 and we covered $250 of that.
Do you want to know the real answer?
Sure.
Because a dog isn't likely to cause a giant scene in the lobby of this place when it sees the size of the bill.
Yeah, but the pet owner will. I mean, look, I'm going to be
but you're not going to get out there and fucking like start throwing things because, the dog surgery was expensive. Like, you're sad. You're in a weakened state at that point. People in a hospital, if you tell them it's going to cost them $30,000 or whatever fucking number it is for whatever, medical treatment they're about to have, there's a greater likelihood, I would say, of someone having a flip out, Like
when it is existential to them.
Doesn't mean it is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong to not tell people what they are actually being charged, but I'm just saying that might be a mitigation strategy.
Could be. So this winds up so we booked this surgery. Turns out they don't have an open spot for like a month, which is a kind of a long time, but then they moved the spot up to like two more weeks from now, and I'm like, okay, great. In the meantime, we have put a baby gate on our steps to stop him from hobbling up and down the steps, because I think it's really messing up his joints.
Yeah.
Because he goes upstairs and he jumps on our bed and he jumps off, and it's like, now that I know what it is, it just all looks extremely painful.
Yeah.
And so I've been sleeping downstairs because he's very sad when he can't come sleep by the humans. Yes. So I've been sleeping downstairs, not getting a ton of sleep. wake up. I usually wake up around 6:40, leave the house around 7:10 to go take my daughter to school.
Mm-hmm.
That night, I was like, I'm so tired. It had been like a couple of days of doing this. I went upstairs at like 1 a.m, got into bed, my bed, closed the dog gate, got upstairs, went to bed. About 3 a.m, this is the first night, Alex, it was very warm. Got into bed and fell asleep I couldn't really fall asleep because I had slept, like when you sleep for a little bit and then you can't fall back asleep and you're like, fuck, I fucked up.
Yeah.
And I just fallen back asleep and then my wife starts hitting me in the face with pillows. Like it happened once and I kind of was like, what the fuck? And then it happened again.
One time is an accident, twice is a message.
I think I go, are you going to keep hitting me in the face with pillows? And she's like, what? She's like, oh, I didn't know you were here. I was just moving them because they're hot. I'm hot. And so she just was like moving the pillows to the other side of the bed. I was like, great.
A likely story.
Yeah. Now I don't fall asleep for like another hour and a half just laying there, right? Next time I open my eyes, like I said, I usually wake up about 6:40. It's 7:05. I'm like, fuck. Oh my gosh. I gotta get dressed and I gotta run out. First thing I do when I wake up is like, what is that smell? Is something burning in the house? Is there electrical fire?
I know that smell well.
And then I look and the dog is right next to me. And I'm like, what is going on?
Do you have a doggy door?
Why is the dog upstairs?
Like, does the dog come and go from the house?
The dog shouldn't be upstairs because the doggy gate is there. The baby gate should be downstairs.
Okay, yes.
I'm full of questions. I see my daughter in the bathroom brushing her teeth. I'm like, what is going on?
I'm trying to figure out the sequence of events. This is post skunk, I assume.
At this point, I didn't know, right?
How does a skunk afflicted dog make it all the way upstairs without somebody going, this isn't right?
You hear me, Brad?
I feel like we're getting there.
Yeah. So I'm on very little sleep, so I'm very groggy and grumpy. And my daughter's like, brushing her teeth. She's like, I'm like, what? Wait, what is that smell? And what is the dog doing up here? Brushing her teeth. Okay, so I think Mom said the dog might have gotten sprayed by a skunk. I'm like, why is the dog up? I'm like, Kirby,
why is it in the house?
Downstairs. Let's go. Comes downstairs and it reeks down there. And I'm like, what is going on? And my wife is like, I think there's a skunk outside. And I was like, why is the dog in the house? And she's like, well, I wasn't sure if he got sprayed or if the skunk sprayed outside, but the skunk was in the backyard. I didn't want him fighting with the skunk, right? So I brought him in because I wasn't sure what was happening, but he was growling and I didn't want there to be something to happen. I was like, he's definitely sprayed by the skunk. You need to get him out of the house. And at that point, I have to go, right? Because I have to bring my daughter to school. I'm like, I have to go. Just please.
This sounds like a lousy morning.
So I walk out. And I'm like, all I could smell, it's stuck in my nostrils. It's just all I could smell is this. Everything smells like the skunk.
It sticks. It's a bad, sticky smell.
It's oil, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's just in the air particles.
Oil and pheromones.
And I'm walking, and then I call my wife and I'm like, he's outside, right? He's like, okay, I'll put him out. I was like, what are you talking about? How is he not outside now? And then I was like, what?
You're having a Tim Robinson moment. I feel like it's just like, what are you talking about? Why is the dog inside?
But we were lucky enough to have this baby gate because of a different reason, but he's in our bedroom.
It didn't work.
And so I'm like, I just can't figure it out.
This is baffling. I'm with you. This is kind of baffling.
And then I get home. My wife just tried to give him a hose him down, but my wife has to go somewhere at 8:30. So she's like, I hosed him down outside. I don't think I took care of it, but he's outside and I hosed him down. So I get home and I'm doing the baking soda, hydrogen peroxide, Dawn mixture that everybody recommends online. He doesn't want it because he doesn't like getting wet. A whole thing. All I smell is skunk inside. I towel him down. That towel's going in the garbage.
Yes.
And is getting burned.
I double bag that garbage.
Yeah. And his little dog house outside, the mat that he was sleeping on, that's going in the garbage.
Yep.
Because none of this is going in the washing machine.
Anything
ever.
replaceable, just replace it.
And it still smells a little bit like skunk. This was 2 days ago.
In a day or two, it should be gone from your general purview, but I will say I've never been sprayed by a skunk. None of my pets have been sprayed by skunks. My friends' pets have been sprayed by skunks, and I had one friend who was sprayed by a skunk. And let me tell you, the ordeal that is described in getting rid of that smell is never exaggerated. It is an ordeal.
Luckily, I don't think he got it in his eyes. I don't think it went in his mouth. And I think he is okay aside from his own surgery. So this is the context in which I learned about what we started the show with. Yes. Already feeling like, what is going on? And then I'm like, what is going on? I found my new, I know Reddit has its own problems, but somebody had sent me a thing. Did you know there's a Reddit called Mildly Infuriating?
Yes, there's also one called Mildly Interesting, which I do also follow. I do follow that one. Not mildly irritating, because I don't need that in my life.
I was like, I just feel like I live in a mildly infuriated moment right now that then peaks to very infuriated and then just simmers at mildly infuriated. And it was a really not tragic, but mildly infuriating set of events there. I have since gone to sleep for a full night. It's one of those nights where I was so tired, the night after you just go to bed at like 7:30 or 8 o'clock and sleep until the dawn. I did one of those. I even shut the door to the bedroom. It's just like, I'm just going to bed.
Fair.
So recuperated. Anyway, I got to vent a little bit because you know what?
What is this podcast for if not letting us get our grievances out into the air?
Everybody just needs to scream into a pillow once in a while. It's like
or a microphone.
Or a microphone, because like, man, whoo, sometimes that deck feels stacked against you, and then the people you look to be like, help, are like, you're not helping. You let the dog in the house. You're the helping people. You're the strangers I look to for help.
Do you want to let a little scream out right now, like collectively as a group? Like we can back off the mic and just kind of scream away if you want. I'll do it. You think it'll help?
Look, I don't want to. If anybody's out there listening in public, you could go scream. I'm sure everybody around you will. But I'll just open my window and yell, "I'm mad as hell." Okay. I'm not going to take it anymore. No. Look, it's cathartic for me just to talk it through and to share these burdens with everyone. We're all going to get by sharing the burdens.
Yes, and there are many burdens.
Shall we move into the video games?
Another burden. Whoa, the great burden of my life.
Whoa, no. The reprieve, I will say, the moments of I'm just gonna turn off, I'm just gonna go and play a video game and enjoy myself for a little bit, for escapism, right? That's what they call it. Let's see. I finished up Call of the Sea.
Okay.
Call of the Sea is the would be, I'll call it, eldritch horror game, you know. It came out 2020. It's Call of the Sea is pretty much an Elder Gods kind of journey into madness, right? Like it's not horrific. There's no body horror really, but people are
cosmic
losing
horror.
It. Yeah. It's more cosmic horror, but it's not. It's very mild.
Lovecraftian.
It's psychological horror.
Yeah, maybe Lovecraftian without some of the rougher edges of the
unknowable horrors.
That goes for most anything you can describe as Lovecraftian these days.
Yeah. So I finished that up. I really enjoyed it.
You said it's pretty short.
It's not very long. I don't know the hour count, but 1 or 2 sittings you probably get through. It's a puzzle game, so depending on how easily you kind of manipulate the puzzles. Call of the Elder Gods I found to be less cosmic horror and much.
It's interesting considering it says Elder Gods right in the name this time.
Yeah, much more. What would you call like the Indiana Jones kind of mystical romp? I'd
call it. I mean, in the parlance of movie genres, I'd call it an adventure. Like it is a fantasy adventure.
But like an Uncharted. What is that
like
genre
serial,
of
like serial kind of thing?
It's like but the idea being that like, it's ancient stuff maybe really did happen.
I think that's where the fantasy part comes in.
Yeah.
Kind of mythological. I don't know.
mythological adventure.
Yeah, maybe more mythological. It's like a little bit more of that with some sprinkling of the cosmic or elder gods. I mean, there's definitely elder god stuff in it, but the horror aspect is kind of missing for me in Call of the Elder Gods.
Okay.
And the way they structure their story is a little different. You actually play as you bebop between two different characters who are mostly with you. I'm not going to spoil anything here, but you bebop between two different characters. I know folks who tuned in last time, we weren't sure. This absolutely is a sequel to Call of the Sea. This is a direct continuation.
Like direct? Okay, because we mentioned last time, like there are straight up different characters in the key art, so I wasn't sure if it was just sort of in the same franchise, but...
Yes, different characters that are in the key art, but there are returning characters from the first game. So this is, if you're interested in Call of the Elder Gods, I actually do recommend going. I don't think you have to, but I would recommend playing Call of the Sea. It is just so intertwined with that game that so when I restarted it, I told the game I had not played, I did play Call of the Sea. I'm not sure if something would have changed. It prompts you, hey, have you played Call of the Sea? And this time I said, yes, I have. So I'm not sure if it would fill in some gaps or blanks if you hadn't. So yeah, I think I liked Call of the Sea more than Call of the Elder Gods, just in terms of pure narrative and story. I think Call of the Elder Gods, puzzle-wise, has some fun stuff there. A lot of these games, this particular series seems to, now that I'm an expert, seems to hinge on pattern and symbol matching are a lot of the puzzles in the game. It's got one, and this is kind of a knock against it. Elder Gods has one of those. You have 3 containers. One can hold 1 liter. One can hold 3 liters, and one can hold 2 liters. But you need to get 4 liters. You got to fill this one up with 4 liters.
That sounds fun.
What do the Elder Gods need with specific amounts of liquid? Honestly,
I don't know what that puzzle is called. It's not the Towers of Hanoi style thing.
I think it is. Isn't that Tower of Hanoi?
I think the Tower of Hanoi is the one with the rings, and you have to get them in the ascending order.
Yeah, but is that not still basically what you're talking about? Like still like a quantity puzzle? I'm not sure.
This is more of the you've got to I've got to fill this thing up with 3, and then I got to push it into the 2 ones, so that it only has 1 liquid thing remaining. It's not too far afield conceptually.
Yeah, okay, but, Tower of Hanoi, that's more of an ordering puzzle, right? Where you have to get the rings in order. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like those are like some mainstays, and you always see variations of those, and the sliding block puzzle. Didn't hate it. I think I just like Call of the Sea better. Both of those games are $20. I enjoyed my time with it. I like a good puzzly adventure game. I just think thematically Call of the Sea was more interesting than Call of the Elder Gods. And some of the environments I enjoyed more in Call of the Sea. Oddly enough, because Elder Gods does a much bigger romp around than Call of the Sea. What else?
TerraTech? Yeah.
Brad, explain to the world your TerraTech fascination.
TerraTech Legion.
Because apparently welcome to the TerraTech.
TerraTech apparently is a whole franchise of games that I was not aware of until somebody pointed me to this game on our Discord. Paper is the user of on our Discord who brought this to my attention, and thank them for doing so, because this game rules.
Okay.
It is, I apologize for just doing the game plus game thing, but it is so apt here, I can't help myself. It's Vampire Survivors with the vehicle building of Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
Oh, that's wild.
It is. Okay. It is a bullet heaven game.
Okay.
As we'll get into later.
Mm-hmm.
And now that that's been formalized, it is a Vampire Survivors. But every time you level up, you go to that vehicle creator. The drops are parts for your vehicle.
Oh, so
and every time
mid-game you're doing
every time you level, and only when you level. You can't go into the builder anytime you want to tweak things. You can only do it when you level. So the choices are not entirely binding, but you are going to have to live with them until you level again.
Okay.
But it just rolls a bunch of loot boxes every time you level up and gives you parts for your thing. New weapons, new tires, blocks, like just straight up like risers, spacers and stuff, because different weapons have different like attachment point requirements.
Mm-hmm.
You have to worry about weapons occluding each other because you can, when you mouse over them, you can see what their firing pattern is. Some of them shoot just in a straight line. Some of them shoot in like a cone. Some of them are 360 degrees. But then if they're like, if you got like a 360 degree one, for example, like this was one of those early moments with this game where I was like, oh, this fucking rules. I had a 360 degree weapon that would shoot, anywhere around me. Mm-hmm. But when I plopped it down and then looked at its firing pattern, it was being blocked on a bunch of sides by other weapons.
That's cool.
I was like, I'll just pop a block in there and raise it up one level above all the other weapons, and now it has clearance to shoot everywhere.
But the enemies don't have height, so like the enemies will always...
No. Yeah, it's all...
You won't shoot over their head accidentally?
No, not that I've seen.
So TerraTech, the original, or what seems like the original, looks like it came out in 2018, and this feels like a thing we probably played, maybe, like, hey, we played it on something.
I think we have played it, but it certainly seems like a game we would have fired up on some Friday stream or something. Like I think it's basically, I just glanced at the Steam page for the first game very briefly, but I think it's basically just that same type of vehicle building, but in an open world, like multiplayer open world. And this seems like they took that vehicle builder concept and just shoved it into a Vampire Survivors.
That's so funny to me.
It's rad. I am really enjoying. It's hard. It is fucking hard. Like I have not even made it to the boss of the first level yet. I've only beaten the mini boss like twice. Like it's tough. Also, the driving is all tank controls, or as I will always say, it is super off-road controls.
Yes,
okay. It is the Ivan Iron Man Stewart style. Mm-hmm. But I think like that comparison is even more relevant here because by default, at least the starting vehicle, I haven't unlocked any of the other 3 vehicles. I'm still on the first one. But the first vehicle very much has that slidey feel of those monster trucks in that game, where you like really kick your rear end around as you are driving around. You've got a boost mechanic, which just boosts you forward, but it also damages enemies. So like that's actually critical because the enemies start piling up on you, and you have to boost through them to try to clear some space in front of you.
Can you get melee focused weapons so
I've seen plows. I've gotten. Okay. I'm still. I think I gather there are like tons of parts to unlock that I haven't seen yet. I'm sure that they continue unlocking as you get deeper into the game. But so I'm still on kind of like probably the starting round of stuff. But yes, I have seen a plow that'll unlock that you can put on your front to give you more kind of melee damage when you boost through people.
The videos for this look super fun.
Yeah, it's rad. I mean, specifically because like every time you're leveling up, you can change, like you can customize everything about how these things attack. It's like, I want to put whatever. I mean, there are a million examples for weapons, but it's like, I've got everything shooting forward right now, so all of my damage is coming out of my front. I'm going to tweak these things so this 360 degree thing is up high so we can shoot everywhere. I'm going to put these shotgun style things on my back now so they're shooting anything. Man, I should try that actually. Like I hadn't even thought about that. There is a shotgun thing that I've only ever gotten 2 of at one time, and I always put both of those right on my front to just kind of let me plow through stuff. But now that I think about it, I think putting those shotguns on the back might be better because then it just kind of gets anything that's coming up on me.
Real-time strategy adjustment.
Yeah, like it is really cool. Like you really have a ton of flexibility to determine kind of what the firing patterns are like and what kind of coverage you have in which directions and stuff. Like it's really fun to customize that stuff.
Can your vehicle tip over?
Not that I've seen.
Okay, so you don't have to worry about balance? Or... Yeah,
so like early on, you're in a run, you're like trying to place everything intelligently and make it look symmetrical and nice and not block anything. And by the end of course, I haven't beaten the first level yet, but by the end of a run, you just got this ridiculous monstrosity where you're just sticking everything anywhere it will fit to try to use everything you have.
That's cool.
But I don't think that affects. I don't think there's any mechanics around like vehicle weight or balance or anything like that.
Okay.
As far as I can tell, you can just stick stuff wherever you want, and it doesn't.
It's not physics oriented.
Yeah. It doesn't affect your handling or like balance or anything like that. As far as I can tell,
you haven't gotten a giant ball on a chain quite yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
No. But then there's all kinds of like categories. There's like ballistic weapons, explosive, energy. And you get upgrades like. You get a lot of passive blocks that just stick on to give you passive upgrades that don't shoot. And some of those will have attach points on them, so you can like get creative with how you arrange those so you can fit other stuff on top of them. Like there's a ton of customization in the vehicle building.
And the builder is intuitive?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, okay. There's like a couple things that could be a little better about it, but generally it is quite approachable. I've been playing it all on controller so far without issues.
It's got a fun look, a lot of lights and blinky things on the vehicle.
It's very flashy, like it looks, very 3D HDR-ish.
Right, but it's not 8-bit or
no. It's very modern 3D looking. I'm playing it on Steam. I actually just realized as right before this, I was looking it up. I guess it's out on Xbox as well, which I did not realize. I thought it was Steam only for now. I think it's on Game Pass actually. I might try the Xbox version to see how that one runs, and so I can get achievements. But I'm having a very good time with it so far. But it is extremely hard.
I think that's so interesting to me. If this is the TerraTech that breaks through, right? Like they have this idea for their open world builder game, and then their bullet heaven punches through the mainstream, and it's like this is the one that made this company.
Yeah. I think their games have done okay. TerraTech World's not tons of Steam reviews. The first TerraTech looks like it did pretty well.
It's got a lot of DLC, or at least
they put out a ton of DLC, and it's got quite a few user reviews on Steam and stuff. But I think this new one, like Legion, also seems like it's doing pretty well.
It's cool. It's adding a new concept to the.
It's like it's one of the first Vampire Survivors likes since that game that I feel like has done something different enough to get me to play it. You know, like there was that whole wave of kind of, I hate to say clones because it sounds a little derogatory, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there were a whole bunch of post-Vampire Survivors games that were just
derivative.
Like...
They're likes.
Kind of, just like, it's just kind of that game, but looks better. Like, it has nice 3D graphics instead of the lo-fi pixel art or whatever. But this actually feels like it's adding something to the experience that is very meaningful because you can customize so much about how you play it.
I think that's very cool.
Yeah, it's rad.
I might go hunt that down. Do you this came out last month, is that right?
About 2 weeks ago, three weeks ago.
Okay. $10?
Yep.
All right. That's a good twist.
Yes, it's cool. Not on PS5, I don't think. I think it's only on Xbox and Steam.
That's what it seems like here. I wonder if there was some money changing hands. But yes, it looks like Xbox and PC. And let's see, I can probably just double check here. Let's see if it's on the Game Pass. Let's see if this will refresh here. But yeah, that seems, I mean, it's $10. So even if it's not a huge overhead.
Yeah. Yes, I highly recommend it. You can really end up with some stupid ass vehicles by the end. Like I said, like you're just, in some cases, it's felt like I was getting away with something really stupid. Like, this should not fit here. That's no place for a weapon. this vehicle should just be tipping right over now, but whatever, your physics are allowing it, so let's go.
That is TerraTech Legion out now, again on PC and Xbox. All right. Let's take a quick break here. We've got some other stuff to talk about. More games we have touched. So we'll talk about those in just a minute. Stick around. This week's show is brought to you by Beta Hat. Alex and Brad. Did you ever play a video game?
Maybe.
Yeah, probably saw someone play one, once in a while. Yeah,
I hear it's very big these days. Watching people play games,
and it can be frustrating sometimes when you're watching somebody play a game or actually playing a game and being like, "Man, that is who designed this thing? What? How did this make it through some kind of process?
Who thought this was a good idea?
Words
I'm sure I've said to myself before.
The answer is you.
The answer could be you. So Beta Hat is a company that is run by a friend of ours, an ex-coworker, Stan Kwan. Let me just give you a second here in this brief ad to say Stan is one of the people who inherited the responsibility of managing Giant Bomb when we moved over to CBS/CNET, right after the Whiskey Media sale. Stan was awesome. He's one of the few people who actually understood what Giant Bomb was about. And now he runs a company that tries to understand or put developers in touch with people who will play their games to understand what is making them tick and makes the game tick. He basically runs focus groups.
Yeah. You've heard of a focus group. It's where they put you in a room, they give you a product, and they say, what do you think about it?
Yeah, and we've talked with Stan about this, and we've talked with him before this opportunity even came up. He runs focus groups for all sorts of companies, very big ones, games that we can't mention here that you've heard of. And he basically came to us and said, I need good people. I need people that know what they're talking about because these developers are actually listening to the feedback they're getting. And when the feedback is bad, the developers are then listening to bad feedback. Your audience knows what they are talking about. He knows the Giant Bomb audience. knows that these are people who are way into games and are knowledgeable. So
how can I get in on this, Vinny?
You can get in on the focus groups and play tests and do surveys and all this stuff by either heading to betahatrc.com. That's betahatrc.com. And when you sign up there, tell them Nextlander sent you. Or if you want to head over to our Discord channel, the Nextlander Discord, you can go and see an announcement we put up, and that'll have more instructions about how you can get alerts and updates during this campaign when Beta Hat has a new focus group or new announcement to go up. So betahatrc.com, or you can head over to our Discord and you can check out the announcement over there. Remember, tell them Nextlander sent you, and say hi to Matt, Rory, and Stan when you're over there. Thanks, Beta Hat. All right, let's see. Okay, so in addition to messing around with Elder Gods, I have still been continuing to figure out what kind of god list planet I am on in Saros.
Yeah, there you go.
You got it there.
So I will say out of the gate here, I'll take it slow down for a second. We could be talking about mechanical spoilers if you're starting that game or haven't played it. I'm not necessarily going to go out of my way to call out any other spoilers other than this, but you get powers and you get stuff, and there are bosses and there are worlds and there's some story stuff. We're not going to go
Returnal.
Yeah, we're not going to go too deep into it, but if you're on Blackout, this is my general, hey, we're going to talk about Saros up until the point where we are. So, Brad, how are you doing?
Still in the
Saros?
third level. I haven't played as much of it this past week. I've been playing other stuff, but I played a bunch of it this morning, and I think I'm going to get back into it more hardcore because I really would like to finish that game. But man, that third level, I have not beaten that fucking mini boss on that third level, and I think it's my fault.
Why do you think it's your fault?
I'm not using any of the assists, or haven't been.
Any of the modifiers?
Yeah, like what do you call it? With the needle, the good, bad needle.
You got up to 3 points. Just dump them in there.
So yeah, I know it's stupid. Out of some misguided sense of wanting the pure experience,
you could even just turn the one that drops more leucinite or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I finally turned a couple of them on this morning. I think it was the more damage. And is there one for more leucinite?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's the one I had on was more damage.
I know there's one. I know there's one that increases the pickup range. I think those are the two I've got on, the pickup range and the more damage. I finally turned on this morning. So A, I hadn't been using any of the modifiers. B, I had just been starting at level 3, which meant obviously you don't get leveled up much by the time you get to that boss. So I finally went back this morning. I was like, all right, fine. I will do a run from level 2 so I can get a bunch of weapons before I get there. So I've got a run saved right before that boss right now that I think I'll probably be able to knock it out.
So I did, you talked about this last week, but I did the same thing. I wound up doing the same thing, and it was kind of I was a little shocked at how quickly you can do it. I did max out the tech tree up until the boss marker.
Yeah, like one good run from the beginning of the game will get you enough money to just buy literally everything that you can get.
And then, but then I actually wound up beating that boss that you're on the first time I ran up against it. So like I just had that
mini boss or the full boss?
The mini boss.
Okay.
I just had one of those combinations of like, okay, this is just working for me, and it was all in my favor. I've had to start getting really in tune way more than I did at the beginning of the game with the game's mechanics. I don't know if you're there too, but like, hey, I'm not even going to blow a key until I'm like 10 levels up, right?
Oh yeah. Until I always I pass up a lot of the key chests even when I have a key because you need enough separation between your current power level and the items you have for that to even be worth doing.
So stuff like that. I did actually go in and start changing. This is a little beyond where you are, so I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I did have to go in and actually change the color modes for some of the orbs that get shot out because they wind up even differentiating more later on in the meaning of those orbs. And I was like, oh, okay. Maybe it's even happening now. I just didn't really notice it. Yeah. There's like a reddish and an orangish one that I think I didn't, they call them Nova beams and Nova projectiles.
Yeah.
and you can't dash through them.
The red ones, or I think they're red.
Sorry,
I think they're red. Yeah, it's like red, yellow, and blue. I think are the main ones.
Yeah, I think that's right. When it was on the color bar when I was changing the color, I just put them to bright white.
Interesting.
Like, okay, nothing here is bright white.
That kind of makes me want to go tinker with that a little bit. It's
pretty nice. It's pretty good.
Even though I don't really need it, like it's just those colors are so bold and like such obvious primary colors. It would just be kind of novel to change them to whatever.
Did you look at it? Because they do a pretty good job. Yeah, you can actually change each one.
It's pretty cool as opposed to just giving you like 3 presets or whatever. It's like, oh, this is what we think is right for this kind of color blindness. Like just let you set it all yourself
it's very helpful.
It's a very quick aside. I won't derail this too long. I saw somebody in the Xbox 360 like emulation scene yesterday posting about they are making so you can run like the old firmwares from old. I swear this relates to what we were just talking about. You can run old firmwares like old OS versions from Xbox 360 and emulators and stuff like that. And the old Xbox boot up, the original 360 boot up from before they changed it with Kinect. You remember what 360 looked like when you booted it. That's all like rendered on the fly.
Oh, okay.
It's like all a 3D scene that the 360 is rendering when it boots up, and they've made an editor for that thing where you can like change all the colors and shit in that thing.
Oh, that's wild.
So people were showing off like they're doing like a blue and purple version of that Xbox boot up. Like they just straight up put little editing tools in there. So like when you run your 360 emulator, or you might even be able to do this on real hardware with a mod. Like you can just kind of make your own custom color.
That's kind of cool.
360 boot up. It looked awesome. Like seeing this like blue and purple version of it and stuff like that. Anyway,
nowadays they would sell you that one, right? They'd be like, So this editor the settings in Saros is pretty handy and useful. So I wound up making it past that mini boss, and the reason I bring that up mostly is because then it unlocked the next segment of the tree. And now I've just been doing, again, starting from walking right out the door, doing a full run, and trying to climb through that part of the tech tree as much as I can. I kind of skip the ones that are, I forget what they're called, the ones that boost things like command, or like you pick them up in the field while you're playing, and they give
artifacts?
No, not the artifacts. They give you like a boosted modifier. Like, hey, while the time is ticking here, we'll boost. You've gotten them before because you unlock them while you're playing the game. And some of the what color are the house and things? Purple-ish. Yeah. Some of those are like, hey, you'll get increased boost from these when you pick them up. I've just been skipping those in the tech tree. I don't know if you've been putting a lot of points into them. I mostly go for anything that's increased aether efficiency, right? I just need health. That's what happens. I just need health. Yep. So increased aether drops or increased efficiency. The ones that give you the +111 to everything, I always go for. They're usually the very expensive ones, the ones that scale from like 300, 600, 1,000. Those are good for me.
Are you using the modifier that just takes the negative effects off of the Eclipse artifacts?
I just put that one on like a run or two ago because I reached a point in the game where it's you're in a similar spot where you just start in the Eclipse, right? There's not a lot of run up to it, but then I hit a point where I don't know what's going on. I hit a point where it feels like Eclipse is optional, but I think I understand why, and this is more to talk about next week once you get a little further for some of the mechanics. But it does feel like they're like, hey, you can pop the Eclipse if you want. You don't have to. Because up until that point, they always gated you, right? With the like, okay, you can't move on because it's an Eclipse door. But now it seems like they're like, I don't know, maybe this suits your play style. Maybe you want an Eclipse time. I kept trying to do the nightmare zones. Do you know if they repopulate? Can you do them multiple times?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I've seen one in the 3rd level after I beat one there, so I guess they do.
Okay. Yeah, I bet there's some kind of like trophy or a trophy because it's PlayStation for doing them all or something, but it does give you back your second wind, so that's pretty good. Yeah, I think that game's cool. I got a new weapon. Every time I get a new weapon, I unlocked a new weapon. I'm like, this weapon stinks. And then I use it for a while. I'm like, oh, how did I ever survive without this weapon?
Yeah, I have had 1 or 2 situations where I felt like I really got fucked by the weapon they gave me, though.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Like, in particular, there's like one shotgun that has just 0 range on it.
Yep. It doesn't change to the vertical.
And no, it's not that one. It's
the pellet wall one.
I think it's that. I forget if it's one of the other 2. I think I've got 3 shotguns right now. Anyway, I got one of those and then immediately got shoved in a room with nothing but flying enemies where I basically just couldn't hit them.
Yeah.
Like I was having to like very slowly chip them down because I could barely hit them from where from the ground. Yeah. And like, it just felt bad.
Yeah.
I took so much damage in there because I just couldn't kill those things.
And you probably didn't know the flying enemies were coming because you get those redraw cards, but if you don't know what's coming, how are you gonna know?
I should use the redraws more. I tend to save those because I want to be able to ditch bad artifacts when I find a better one. And it's the same redraw item for both, right? It's either redraw or destroy an artifact, and I'd always rather be able to get rid of old artifacts I don't want.
I wound up I still really like these smart rounds, basically as a utility gun. Like I just feel like I'm pretty good with that because you could just move and hold down the fire.
Yep.
I also really like the shotgun that switches to vertical. That gives you the range.
Not bad.
Because I've gotten pretty good or pretty happy with the stun mechanic, and that thing just stuns the heck out of characters, and you just punch them. But what did I have? Something that didn't have any auto aim or anything, and even on the first boss, it just took me forever because those little buds that open up, you just have to like actually target them and not move, and that was pretty difficult for something like a shotgun that doesn't have the auto aim. I really think I just like the gameplay in that. I think I enjoy just doing the runs through it.
Yep, it's fun.
Because it's not that punishing even if you lose. Like you still come out with some cash, and then you could just put that cash into a tech tree, and it really does give you an edge. Like I just feel like I am paying my way to a better character as we go. Story stuff still feels a little well worn, and like I'm not sure where it's going to wind up in the end.
Yeah, I'm not expecting anything revelatory out of it, but I'm enjoying what it's doing well enough.
Yeah, I think it's doing hitting the notes and hitting it well. Like ooh, everyone's losing their mother. They're also angry.
It's like the only real question for me is like, which way do they fall with the main character? Does he also lose his mind, or is he the only guy who comes through it, or like which pieces are going to fall where? But it's pretty obvious what the general shape of it is going to be.
It's like I'm really expecting there to be a miserable ending, but how miserable, right?
Yeah,
like, not a happy ending, but really enjoying it. I like sinking time into it. I like just doing a run. Like even from the beginning, it feels fun. So we'll see. I don't know. I did fill out the entire fast travel wheel, so I'm curious to see how that structure winds up playing out because it happens very quickly.
Yeah,
after
you mentioned that
mini boss.
You mentioned that before we started here, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that works because that seems crazy to me. It seems like the back half of the game has a different structure where things probably change to some degree.
Maybe.
If you're unlocking new levels that fast, because the first 3 take some real work.
Yeah, I'll leave it for you to discover, but like they kind of monkey around with it a little bit. That's Saros, still going. Don't expect that one on your PC anytime soon.
Nope.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in the news. All right, Alex, you and I continued our march with Abby down Directive 8020. Just a light check in here. Things still feel about the same to you? Any further thoughts as we? Yeah, this is Supermassive's next big narrative game.
Yeah, I mean, it's their latest collection of horror tropes, and I mostly mean that lovingly. I mean, all those games are basically like we took a specific subgenre of horror, and then we made a bunch of references to the good movies in those while also telling our own story. And I think in the case of something like The Quarry, that works really well. Something about Directive 8020 is just not 100% doing it for me. Like, they're pulling from all the general sources you would expect, and there's some shots in there that just feel like straight up lifted from a couple of those movies, but I don't mind that stuff necessarily. The bigger problem I have is I just don't think the structure of that game is working super well for me.
Yeah, again, we'll do no spoilers here. I know, Brad, you're looking forward to playing that one as well, so no spoilers here, but yes, the gameplay structure does feel very uneven, and the pacing,
the time jumps mostly.
Yeah, it's a little uneven. It's a little more stealth than I was expecting. There's only been a couple of moments where I felt like, oh boy, and a choice I made really resulted in something consequential.
Yeah.
And I like those parts. Those are the parts I want from the game.
That's
right?
the stuff that they do best, generally.
Yeah. Be like, oh no, oh no. We have not used the rewind mechanic yet, and I'm hoping to see. There are places where I think I would use it, but so far I have not felt the need to use it.
I think if you ended up with a choice where you feel like you fundamentally misunderstood what they were actually asking of you, you would probably rewind it.
Or a mechanic I didn't understand or something. It's been close.
I feel like so far, whenever we've had one of those, it has been very much like, okay, this is just a consequence you would normally experience in one of these games, and we understood something might happen, so let's just roll with it.
Let's just roll with it.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're probably, I would say, judging from the progress on the timeline, maybe halfway-ish done.
Slightly over.
Obviously, we haven't seen everything from all the permutations, so I'll be curious when we finish it, Brad, if you play it, to see how differently our runs go, because it does seem like, even from talking with the chat as we play it live, we are in a different timeline. we have split the timeline pretty wildly.
When I played it with the developer last summer, I think I made a decision to kill somebody that full on you could just either choose to kill them or not, you know? So like things as binary as does person die or not, obviously you're going to change things quite a bit.
Yeah. Directive 8020 still love those supermassive games, so we'll see.
Still
how
having fun with it. I think this one's a little more uneven than I was hoping for.
I part of the fun for me again is playing it with you guys and playing in the crowd and just goofing on the tropes and the characters. They all make bad decisions constantly. It's a bad decision generator, and I feel like that's part of the fun. All right, that's Directive 8020. Alex, anything else you want to pull up here?
Yeah, I mean, I've mostly been touching stuff that I've already been playing. I did finish Mixtape. I don't have a lot to add to it beyond what I said last week. My emotional response to it was basically the same, which is that there's a little heart here. There's a little something to it, but I just didn't feel like the whole thing really did a whole lot for me. I can't bring myself to bring a burning hatred or a deep, abiding love for it. It's just sort of like, there's something. It has a quality. That's about it. That's all I got out of it. It is also like 3 hours long. I played some more Forbidden Solitaire. I think I'm nearing what would be considered the conclusion of that game. I'm not there yet, but I've gotten pretty far into the rabbit hole of that thing. I've also just been kind of touching it little spurts here and there.
Tempted to ask where you are, but
it's fine. I'll tell you once I finish. Like it's
okay.
It's just, I'm enjoying it. I'm not that overly invested in what's going on. It's more just like I'm enjoying playing the Solitaire, and also I think the story stuff is fun,
Yeah. Like I said last week, that it's broken up into 4 dungeons by card suit. So you can look at what dungeon you're in or how many you've done and have a pretty good idea.
I think I'm in the 3rd dungeon, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it goes some places in the last one for sure. Like the end of the game is pretty lengthy beyond kind of the 4 main dungeons, but yeah.
Yeah.
The game rules. I started a New Game Plus, but I didn't get very far into it. It seems like they're going to add more mechanics to how New Game Plus works.
Oh, at some point. Okay. I wonder if you can go back and restart a New Game Plus.
You can restart it anytime you want. Like there are some customizations you can do now when you start a new. I think I was hoping it would be harder. Anyway, I think there's like more difficulty customizations coming for how you set the settings for a New Game Plus run.
So yeah, I'll probably end up finishing that before I head off. This has been a week where I've been spending a lot of time getting ready for Summer Games Fest, which is on the horizon. So I've been sort of planning some travel and things around that. I've also been falling further and further down my silly retro rewind modding rabbit hole.
Okay.
What I've realized, I think, is that it has less to do with retro rewind on its own merits, which is a fine enough game. It's a good enough like power washing simulator or similar type of job game that does the job you want it to do. It's more that these mods feel very accessible to me, and I'm kind of interested in how far I can take the stupidity of this.
So like breaking or bending.
Yeah, because a lot of the mods are pretty easy to use for this game, and so this just happens to have a particular thing that I can scratch with it. And so what has now escalated is that someone took the existing custom movie maker thing that I was using, modded it to work with this other thing that they made, which is a genre adding mod. So now there are more genres you can choose from. The problem with that game was that it kind of like mushed a bunch of things together. Like police was just sort of like could have been 8 different things. Like there was no thriller genre, there was no documentary genre or anything like that. So you kind of had to mush things together if you really wanted to get everything in there. So this adds like I think between 6 and 8 new genres, including like documentary, music, history, thriller, all that stuff. And then the tool that they've modded, the custom movie maker, they've modded it so that you can add movies to those new genres as well. So I've basically started my work back over and just started going, and now it's again, it's less about the end goal and more about how deep can I fall down this than anything else.
I'm still shocked that somebody doesn't have like I don't know how Plex stores your library. I would just assume like an XML file or something. I believe it somewhere.
Is, yeah.
I'm just shocked nobody has pulled that in and been able to just rip the tags and movies out of it easily in an easy fashion. Hey, maybe you'll be the one to build that mod in the end.
Someone did make a poster scraping tool also if you want that. So it'll just scrape like, movie DB, like any of that other stuff that does literally require like an API key to do it. But
sure.
But
that's
again,
funny. Yeah, I love that you're down the weird.
I'm not even playing the game. I'm just making the mod. Like that's it. I'm not even worrying about the actual game because I'm probably not going to touch it again until that video game update comes out.
Now you're a true gamer. You don't even play the game.
I also did download the new American Truck Simulator DLC Illinois. I haven't touched it yet. I also downloaded the update for Civ 7 that is the big one, the one that kind of changes the whole structure of that game. That just came out today, so I haven't had a chance to really dig into it yet, but these are all the things that I am currently spinning.
Maybe you can put that, I don't know how it runs, but I assume it would be okay on your Steam Deck or something if you're on a big plane trip, let's say in the future, if Civ 7 runs on there.
Yeah, I think there's a working version of Sim. I think it has some complications, but it basically works on the Steam Deck.
Okay.
If not, I can certainly finish Forbidden Solitaire, I think.
There you go. Does that have controller support?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But you can just touch the touchscreen if you really want to.
It's got the touch pads on there.
Well, the reason I ask is I keep thinking about booting it up on Moonlight or Sunshine. And
it does not.
It does not. And
have
then I'm
controller
like,
support.
I'll just have to wait for my waitlist for my Steam controller.
It is Steam Deck verified, but maybe they just expect you to use the touch pads there.
Yeah, maybe. I gotta give it a try. I just haven't done it. All right. I think there is only one more big heavy hitter to get to Brad Shoemaker.
Oh, yeah.
What you been up to?
Candy Box.
Original Candy Box?
Candy Box 1.
Oh, okay.
I spent a little time playing Candy Box 2 and fuck that. It just they really lost sight of the purity of farming lollipops. I don't know how this happened. I genuinely do not know how this happened. Like it's like the last several days are a fugue in my memory. Like I can't tell you how I came to start playing Candy Box again. I bet a lot of people remember this, but don't remember that they remember it. Candy Box is one of the original Idle games.
Yes.
That came out in 2014 maybe?
I don't know.
2013 says Wikipedia. It's a browser-based Idle game. It's all text graphics, ASCII art, text stuff. Mm-hmm. You can find it online if you just Google Candy Box. The developer still has it up on, they have a github.io page where it just hosts Candy Box 1 and 2. Anyway, we don't need to spend a lot of time on this, but I think playing Forbidden Solitaire reminded me of the joy of what I guess I would describe as the sort of low-impact desk game.
Sure.
Like the thing you can dip into and out of for 20 or 30 minutes at a time while you're just sitting at your desk working on other stuff,
Or leave in the background. Maybe.
Yeah, yes. In the case of this, obviously, you really want to just leave it sitting there to earn more candies. But there's a whole RPG thing to this game. There's you've got a cauldron where you have to do very specific alchemy stuff to mix potions and got quests to go through and you're having to.
It's no cookie clicker, but it is similar.
It's definitely absolutely in that vein.
Yeah.
100% in that vein.
When you shared this with me, my favorite thing about it is that the URL for Candy Box 1 is candybox2.github.io/candybox.
Yes. Yeah. And what's really funny about that is that I just Googled Candy Box and spent way too long not realizing which one I was playing. I thought I was playing 2 for a couple of days until I was looking at a wiki. Yes, I've been looking at the Candy Box wiki and was like, wait, there's no shopkeeper in this game. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, I'm playing Candy Box 1 on the Candy Box 2 site.
Original.
Anyway.
Yes.
Anyway, it's fun. I did actually remember what brought me to this. It was both Forbidden Solitaire, and there's a game coming up called, let me make sure I've got the title right. Yes, Defrag Incremental.
Is this a game?
It's on Steam. It is listed for Q3.
Okay.
They literally took the DOS defrag utility and turned it into an incremental game.
Oh my God.
Why?
Why not?
Doesn't that question answer itself?
Yeah, actually, it kind of does, I think.
Go look at screenshots of this thing. You'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, it is the same type of thing.
What's it called again? Defrag Incremental?
Defrag Incremental. So somebody sent this to me and was like, of course, it's an old PC utility turned into a video game. Like, of course, I'm going to be interested in it.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that really struck me was like, oh, did that community rebrand from idle game to incremental game? Because idle game sounds weirdly backhanded.
Yes.
An incremental game sounds more like a real game. I don't know. It seems like this game, you're like building a whole business out of this, apparently. You're like optimizing your defrag utility to make more money and probably be able to take more customers at one time and shit like that. But anyway, seeing this game and thinking it might be out and then realizing, oh no, that's not out for several months. Maybe I should play something. Maybe I should play another incremental game in the meantime. Hey, remember Candy Box?
Mm-hmm.
Here I am. I distinctly remember Candy Box popping up in the office back in 2013, 14, when it first got big, when idle games were first really getting big.
So I gotta be honest, I didn't do a lot of Candy Box.
No, I think it was, were you gone by then? That might have been right around the time you left.
I don't know.
Like, you remember, like, Jeff is huge.
I do feel like that's when incremental games really started kicking off.
Like, like, Jeff is huge on idle games, so, like, there was definitely a lot of Candy Box getting played in the office back when this first got big.
I played a lot of Cookie Clicker.
Yeah, I think Cookie Clicker's older, isn't it? I think it did come first, if I'm not mistaken.
Cookie Clicker is a clicker. Like, you have
you're
to
right.
Keep
yes,
clicking
there is.
On stuff.
That's right. I guess that was the big... That was the big innovation of the idle game. You don't have to click anymore.
Yeah, so I was
clicking
going to ask
for
you. What is
the point? Is that the question?
Cookie Clicker gets there, right? Like, isn't that
probably that's the whole fun of it?
That's probably one of the most sought after. Yeah, it's one of the most sought after upgrades. Is you don't have to do the clicking anymore.
Yes.
Candy Box just says fuck all that.
So what do you do?
Well, you're earning candies to buy lollipops, and then you're planting lollipops to increase lollipop production. And then, but I mean, you're
always generating resource.
Yeah, but you're going on all kinds of quests. There's like a frog oracle in the forest that you have to answer questions for. There's a witch who lives in a hut, and you have to pay her in lollipops for her to like cast certain spells on you to give you upgrades. Again, when you unlock the cauldron, there is a whole like very in-depth sort of alchemy mechanic to making specific potions, and you can only get through some of the harder quests with the right potion mixes.
Can you beat it?
Yeah, I think there's an end to it. I think I might have hit a point in difficulty where I kind of don't want to bother anymore, though.
Why do you throw candies on the ground in the game?
I believe once you hit 100 candies thrown on the ground, you unlock dark mode.
Oh,
if I'm not mistaken.
See. Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you eat candies?
You get more health.
Okay.
You up your HP by eating candies.
Okay, this is all good to know.
Yeah.
I have it now currently in a browser running since you said
you sure do.
I guess I should just leave it there, right?
So
if you left it there running, does something ever happen? Do you max out?
I think it's got some visibility awareness where it'll stop earning you if you like minimize the window or if your computer locks itself or something. It does not seem to just go forever. But also, it's all written in JavaScript. I think you could just edit the save and give yourself whatever you want if you really want to do that. But at that point, why even bother?
I think the source code is right there.
It is. Yeah, it's all open source. But
why rob yourself of this beautiful thing?
Yeah, and anyway, like I just fell back into it because I have fond memories of when it blew up and everybody was playing it for a hot minute. But then kind of made me think like, man, it's been over a decade. Like, what's going on with incremental games on Steam now? There sure are a lot of them. I don't think I'm going to go down this hole until that defrag game comes out, but we'll see. Okay. There sure are a lot of these games.
And now incremental, not clickers. You're making a distinction. Games that will just hopefully...
I don't know if there is a distinction at this point.
Okay.
Is it a distinction without a difference?
Most of these, I mean, and Steam Tag's very big in the news this week, as we'll see, but most of these have both incremental and idler on them. So I don't know if there's a distinction there or not.
I'm sure someone like Jeff probably would throw a shoe at the screen and be like, there's definitely a distinction.
Yeah.
The clicker is dead.
When did Progress Quest come out? I think that was the actual first one ever, right? 2002, yeah. Progress Quest has got to be the origin of this genre, right?
I would think so.
Do we call them Progress Quest likes?
No, not so much anymore.
Well,
anyway,
if you are interested,
looks cool.
And also Candy Box. If you are just search for Candy Box. Are there Candy Box knockoffs people need to be aware of? They're like, don't download a virus. Candybox2.github.io is the one that seems to be the purest Candy Box.
Actually, I wonder what that developer, if he ever made anything else after
Candy
those.
Box 3.
It doesn't look like it.
Sold Candy Box to Epic and made millions of dollars.
Sold it to the New York Times for $7 million.
Yeah, there you go.
Games.newyorktimes.com/candybox.
That's right. And now they're making a game show out of it. You wouldn't believe it. All right. That's going to do it for the games. Wow. Went some places I didn't expect. You never know what you're going to get when you open up a Nextlander podcast. It's like a candy box.
Kind of just been embracing a bit of a whatever philosophy lately.
I mean,
with regard to
the beginning of nihilism, baby.
No, I mean, with regard to playing games, for example, the thing I have got pulled for the Patron's Choice poll next week is certainly not a commercial thing.
Candy box
that you would pay money for. It is not Candy Box.
Okay.
But talked about this before with the economy and the cost of computing goods and stuff being so fucked. A lot of people are getting into like weird retro stuff. There are like so many homebrew projects now. There's like so many things you can do to play video games that are not just whatever the hot new expensive release is of the week. And I think it's maybe worth getting into a little more of that stuff here and there.
Couldn't agree more. Well, we have teased a little bit of our news segment here, so I think we'll stop all the walking and dancing around it, and we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about the news. So stick around. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. Okay, we talked about some of this stuff before. Well, boy, we've talked about a lot of the general gears grinding, people trying to figure out what is gonna be a console in 2027 and beyond, right? The Xbox, Microsoft, Nintendo is like, I know what mine's gonna be, and it's gonna be expensive.
It's gonna be this thing for the next 8 years.
yeah, with the price hike. But one of the things that we've gone back and forth with, and Bloomberg has reported, and Jason Schreier has reported, is will they, won't they stop putting Sony stop putting their games on the PC? Brad, it sounds like we have a little more information there.
Yep. In fact, we have the information. It was back in March, I think, that Schreier ran that pretty extensive piece on. It sounds like it was not decided at that time that there were maybe still some internal debates going on at Sony about whether to keep publishing on PC or not, or porting games, I should say, to PC. Sounds like that fight has been decided. So there's really only confirmation that it was that all that was correct. Basically, there is no new story here. Schreier just posted on Blue Sky. Was this Monday? I believe Monday morning. PlayStation Studio Business CEO Herman Hulst told staff in a town hall Monday morning that the company's narrative single-player games will now be PlayStation exclusive, confirming Bloomberg's reporting from earlier this year. So that's the only update, but it has been announced internally that, in fact, they are not going to bring single-player games to PC anymore.
Look, as a consumer, that sucks because the ports were getting pretty good.
They were getting better.
Yeah, they were getting better. I think their first 2-3 had some pretty bumpy technical issues, but they were generally, I think, getting better.
I think by the time Miles Morales rolled around, it seemed like they had maybe found their stride a little bit with that stuff.
Yeah. So I got like the first question to me is like, where is the line going to be here?
Like in your single player narrative?
Yeah. Is it like obviously a Helldivers type game? Like that's multiplayer only. Mm-hmm. Like that is geared toward ongoing monetization. Of course, they're going to bring something like that over. But is it like
if you have a multiplayer mode.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Is it like, it's kind of mostly a single player game, but it does have multiplayer? I mean, I guess there aren't that many games that do that these days, though, you know? Like,
no, and whenever they talk about it now, it's always some other studio that's working on it, and then like 2 years after the single player comes out, they just cancel that multiplayer mode.
Yeah, like the
You're
days
thinking of like a Last for Us style.
Yeah, or the days of the first Last of Us shipping with both a full single player campaign and a multiplayer mode, or Gears, or you name it. Like, I mean, Gears is an exception. I'm sure that E-Day will have that because it's kind of what you it's what you expect out of Gears. But like
on the Sony side, there isn't much.
Yeah, they're Ghost of Yotei does have its was it Legends? I forget what their little co-op side mode is. Like
that's a good example. Like with that, I bet that's a
probably not. And in fact, like I'm sure. I mean, he doesn't mention any specific games here, but I'm sure Ghost of Yotei, Saros, and then Wolverine is coming out later this year. I'm sure none of those are coming over.
Yeah.
I
don't think this is anything that just has been touched by multiplayer. I think they are talking about the focus of the experience. Like, where has the bulk of our resources gone? And if the bulk of the resources, as many Sony AAA games tend to be, goes into a big single player experience, that stuff's not coming over.
Yeah. I mean, it's all a case by case, like opportunity cost analysis or whatever, right? Like it's just straight up, do we think we'll make more money by putting this on PC?
Or do we need players for this game to exist in a multiplayer environment?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess here's why my heart is a little heavier than normally it even would be. PS5 is now very expensive. We've had price hikes. There are people who are making, I'm not going to call them tough choices because given the state of everything, there are actual tough choices out there. But building a PC or having a PS5 is going to be a actual choice, right? Having both, why not both, is not an option for a lot of people out there because you're talking, getting close to getting in the door on a PC is very expensive. Getting in the door now on a PS5, is also expensive. So having it be like, oh, I'll buy a PC, I'll put the money into a PC, I can play everything except for Switch stuff, was a nice dream for a bit. And like I said, I think those ports were getting there; they were getting better. I was just talking to Matt Rory about Saros, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm playing it on PlayStation. I would like to stream it, but I don't have PlayStation Capture stuff, and that was a thing that used to be able to do on the PC, right?
And that dude loves those games.
Yeah.
Like I remember him loving Returnal when it came out, and he actually posted on Blue Sky the other day. I guess Returnal is like his favorite game of the generation.
Oh wow, okay.
Seems like he's very into Saros too. But I'm trying to find. I don't know if I can. Oh wait, I think I actually just found it. I don't think we ever talked about it on here, but the Games Business did some analysis. I think back around when that Bloomberg report came out, or maybe a little more recently. And I'm not quite sure where they were deriving their numbers from, but their analysis said that Sony's PC ports were really not selling much at all.
Yeah.
Like not nearly enough to justify the cost of porting them.
I mean, I would say it's not that they haven't tried to promote them at all, but I feel like they have not done a lot to really try and emphasize the existence of these ports outside of just saying, hey, it's on PC. You can go buy it if you want. Because I get the impression that even when they were in the thick of doing this, they were never 100% confident in this business model.
Yeah, I mean, yes, they delayed stuff, right? And
whether they were typically well after the console launch, except for Helldivers.
So I think I have some of that reporting here, Brad.
Yeah, I've got it in front of me now. Okay. So like they determined
under 10% on everything.
God of War Ragnarok only sold about 300,000 at launch.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2, 260,000. Horizon Forbidden West, 230,000. So
probably Ghost of Tsushima though.
Yeah.
That one knocked the socks off. 2.1 million.
That's
I think that's like a lifetime. I think
maybe
those numbers I was just quoting were sort of launch window, first month or two.
Okay. I think. Oh, you're right. I think
I mean, it's a weird position to be in because like Sony doesn't want to sell the bulk of their games on PC.
Yes.
Like that's bad.
They want you to buy a PS5.
That's bad for the company. And in fact, I mean, I would go as far as to say that if it got to the point where that was the case, like PlayStation kind of would cease to exist. Like they cannot run
a software company.
Like they cannot run the scale of the PlayStation business making software for other platforms. Like the sheer cost of the scale of the operation they run requires them to have their own platform that is robust and healthy, and you know.
At least, again, I think probably at the very least, when they need to get, not that they need. Look, I'm no business analyst, but like a third party's not taking a skim off the top for every transaction, right? And all of the microtransactions that are packed in, the DLCs that are packed in to even a single player game,
right.
Skins, coins that you got.
Yeah, and it's not just the specific game that they are selling you on the PC rather than on their platform where they're only getting 70% instead of 100, but it's also then you're not getting people into your ecosystem. Where you're then making money off of transactions on other people's products on your platform as well.
Yep.
So like
the upsell.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just kind of confirmation
so
of
like you see sometimes you see people like, oh, I guess they don't want my money if they're not going to put games on PC anymore. It seems like they actually don't.
I know. It's yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be shocked if there were always some people internally who didn't love that direction.
But I think it's like you said when we started, it's just a cost benefit, right? It's not like they don't want their money. It's that there isn't enough of that money to justify the cost of the port. They are having their State of Play June 2nd. Just got announced recently, where they have also confirmed, like we just mentioned, Wolverines, their next big single player game. We assume from all looks in it,
seemingly
single player with no multiplayer mode, but who knows? Maybe 100 Wolverines drop onto an island. We don't know.
That seems like that's headlining this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so that'll be like they're saying over an hour long for the State of Play. Do they have branding for other things? Is it all State of Play now?
Right now it is. My memory is that PlayStation Showcase is what they called the ones where they were announcing hardware.
Okay.
But obviously it's been 5 years plus, 6 years since one of those.
Okay. All right, so look for more of that. Is that overlapping, Alex? I think you mentioned this off mic, but that is overlapping with Summer Game Fest?
I believe it is, yeah.
Well, it's kind of in the window. That's the Tuesday before. Summer Game Fest starts on Friday, and this is on Tuesday.
Week is the week of like online presentations, basically.
It's definitely in the window.
All right, let's switch gears here to Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, everybody's favorite stepping on rakes.
They love to make good decisions, that company.
Okay, so we have to go back in time a little bit, and I'm going to walk through.
Take me on a journey, Vinny.
Okay. Back in June of 2025, Wizards of the Coast, which is owned by Hasbro, which then owns D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, for anybody who did not catch that sick reference. D&D, they said, hey, we're going to team up with legendary game developer Stig
Asmussen
to create a forthcoming D&D game. Stig worked on God of War, has a bunch of other games, kind of been around for a Jedi Fallen Order.
Star Wars,
right? Like,
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is his most recent shipped game, I think.
The name of the team is Giant Skull. They're going to go out there. We're going to make a D&D game using Unreal Engine 5. This is an awesome new partnership. We're so excited. We're doing they put out this whole big press release, right? This is back in June 2025. That game is canceled, or that relationship is done. Now, I want to make clear here, this is not that Warlock game that they showed footage of, that D&D Warlock game.
Right, that's something else.
That is a different studio and a different game. That is Invoke Studios, and Invoke, not to get too off on a tangent here, is a studio that was basically rebranded after I just wanted to say this because of the name of the previous studio. It's a Canadian studio. Took? What's the how do you say, is it the hat?
Took.
Yeah. Was the name of the studio that Wizards then bought, and they have rebranded as Invoke.
Okay.
And they are making that Warlock game. So when I first heard this, I was like, oh shit, that game that they showed that scene from, that's the one? No, that is not that game.
Okay.
I don't think anything ever got produced for this publicly.
Doesn't seem like it. Giant Skull and Stig are like, hey man, we're gonna be fine. We got, that's their statement.
It sounds like that wasn't their only pitch going right now.
Yeah, it's just
Hasbro is like, we always are evaluating everything and blah, 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 blah.
Well, and especially right now.
Yeah, and I mean, games getting canceled left and right, funding issues left and right. I don't know. It's all kind of a big mess. I just thought it was a cool concept.
Yeah.
Like, I thought Fallen Order was, like, way better than it should have been for a license. I don't, that sounds weird. I don't quite mean it that way, but I don't know. Star Wars licensed games, maybe an up and down track record. I think that is one of the better ones in recent years by a lot. I really was impressed with that game. So, like, the idea of something like that in the D&D universe sounded pretty rad. And who knows? Maybe it would have been somewhat different from that game, but I mean, I think that, like, if that was the direction they were going, that could have been very cool. So kind of a bummer this didn't work out.
They have a bunch of other stuff. TBD on what comes out of any Hasbro Wizards collaboration here. But do you remember the Dark Alliance reboot that they did? We played it. I think we played it.
Yes. Yes, that was bad.
Those servers are shut down.
Aha.
Those shut down last year.
Not super surprising.
February 2025, no longer available for purchase.
Why did that need servers? Was that an online-only game?
I think so. It was a co-op, I think.
You could not play that single player?
I never tried. I don't think I tried. Well, it could just be
delisted. It's been fully delisted from sale. Jeez.
Yeah, you can't buy it anymore. Look, it might be one of those things where the servers are down. They're just not, and the servers go down. It is always online, but maybe there was a single player component. But
the game was not great.
Yeah, it was not great, and D&D does not have a great track record for recent games. Baldur's Gate 3 being the kind of big exception to that. Neverwinter Nights, like back in the day, you could look at a licensed D&D thing and be like, yeah, man, those are awesome. But
it does make it really funny that Hasbro hasn't been falling all over themselves to try and recreate Baldur's Gate 3's success, considering what that did for them.
Yeah, or even going back, I mean, you mentioned like old Baldur's Gate, but like from the Gold Box games to the Infinity Engine games, like D&D had a pretty long run of like legendary games there for like 20 years.
With also a bunch of bad ones in between. We don't remember those.
Yeah, sure.
Because the good ones were there and they were frequent.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of awesome Neverwinter Nights, Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale. There were a lot of awesome games there. And then they just really slowed down. There was just not a lot of stuff. They re-released a bunch of stuff. But then you got that new Dark Alliance, which didn't really seem to hit. But then you got Baldur's Gate 3, which set the world on fire. But it kind of feels like mostly in the past they've just been doing Neverwinter Nights 2 editions, like enhanced editions. There a Neverwinter Nights Online. Am I misremembering? Was there not? Okay, maybe there wasn't. Maybe I'm getting confused with something else. I thought there was. I think there's still room for the fantasy RPG.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, Baldur's Gate 3, not that long ago, did very well.
Of course, I mean, this was described as an action-adventure, the Giant Skull game.
Yes. And I think that Warlock game might also be kind of an action-adventure game. Put out an Eberron game, you cowards.
Yeah, there's only been, like, one, hasn't there?
Two are listed when I looked it up, but
okay.
I don't think I've ever played them.
They were not games that I knew much about.
Dungeons & Dragons Online Stormreach and Dungeons & Dragons Dragon Shard were the two I saw. Anyway.
You know what? I need to know what Dragon Shard got at GameSpot. Because it came out around the time that I was running reviews there.
Did Jason review that game?
It could be. I could also see a Bob Kaliko.
Yes, Jason did in fact review it.
Okay, that makes sense.
8.5.
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah,
all right, yeah, that's not so bad.
Are you gonna go boot up the Eberron games?
No. I mean, I think the game's really old, but it's fine. Someone should make a new one.
Yeah. Anyway, Giant Skull. Sounds like they have other things cooking, and there's still that Warlock game for your D&D future game. We'll see if that makes it through the mill on the other end of... I don't think there's a date for that game yet, so we'll see what happens. Okay, speaking of the mill, boy, the on-again, off-again relationship with Fortnite and Apple. Where are we now, Brad?
Fortnite is back on the App Store worldwide.
It's like one of those
except
things,
in Australia.
except in Australia, where you're like, hey, we broke up with Apple, but you don't want to talk shit because they might just get back together. So you're not going to be like, the App Store on the Apple was really bad for you. You should, but then, they might just get back together again. And then it's going to be awkward because then you're going to be like, oh, you're back together. Oh, okay. Sorry, I talked so much shit about your partner on the Apple. Sorry. Though it seems like Tim Sweeney is still just talking shit about Apple.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yes, he'll never stop.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the court battle grinds on. We don't need to get into the nuances of where the legal machinery is at currently. It's a lot of court ruling,
Yes. Appeal after appeal.
Motion to stay the ruling granted, higher court overturns the motion. Like, it's a lot of back and forth still. But in the meantime, Fortnite is fully back on the App Store in every territory except Australia, where Epic claims there is a, quote, illegal payment arrangement in place, and that they are effectively, from the sound of things, waiting for an Australian court to overturn that, rule it illegal before they're back in Australia. But everywhere else in the world, you can now play Fortnite on your iPhone again. But why would you?
Yes.
Because this is really the main reason I even wanted to bring this up is, man, their Star Wars event is not great this year.
There is one, though?
Yeah, they do. I think for the last several years, May is kind of Star Wars month because of why.
Because of the Sith.
Yep.
Yeah, the Sith.
May Sith. Yeah, the May Sith.
Anyway, it sucks this year.
Wait, what?
It's not even in Battle Royale. It's like some external or like side game types that they've ginned up for Star Wars.
Is this the result of them having tore through a bunch of Star Wars stuff already?
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the stuff they're giving out right now is like Mandalorian and Grogu related.
Well, that does track.
I didn't really see much on the track that I would have been interested in anyway, but I think they have a big Overwatch crossover going right now. And it sounds like that's getting the focus, but like the Star Wars stuff is not even in the main Battle Royale mode this year.
So let me ask you this, Brad Fortnite Shoemaker.
Nope.
Yep.
Mr. Fortnite himself.
I seriously probably won't play any Fortnite this year because I clearly only come back to it when there's something in there that I care about.
You're retired. I get it. You don't want to, go
He's retired
out on top.
from his pro career.
Like, I doubt there's going to be anything on the level of The Simpsons again this year. So
if you had, if they had brought back, and Disney wanted to spend on it, brought back assets from their previous one where they did all of like the rework and the laser pistols and stuff like that, would you be disappointed because they're just doing a rehash? Or would you be like, that was fun, you should bring it back?
I would probably play some, especially if they brought back some of the old rewards you couldn't get anymore. Yeah, I probably would have put some time into it.
Okay, so you wouldn't be like that, they're just rehashing again.
It would have been a little disappointing.
But less disappointing than you feel like with their implementation this year.
Yes.
I wonder if Disney just didn't want to shell out, and maybe they, which is weird because they have a movie they would promote, and
they've also got that huge investment in Epic. I don't know what is going on there, but
I don't know.
Anyway,
maybe they just know the kids don't have the Grogu fever anymore.
Maybe they were all set to do it, and they're like, just pull the plug. It's good. Just give them a damn skin.
Kids are out there on the playgrounds punting their Grogu toys now. They're done with them.
Is that movie out?
I think so.
Is it this weekend? Reviews just dropped a day or two ago. I think it's probably this weekend.
Okay. Are the reviews
not great?
Not great.
Yeah,
okay.
I'd say pretty middling.
Okay.
And specifically, the thing they all seem to say is like, this just feels like a big TV episode. Like it feels like pretty limited in scope. And I think season 4 of that show did turn into this movie to some degree, is my understanding. Don't quote me on that.
Did I tell you I'm watching Andor season 2?
You did not.
Oh, yeah. I'm watching Andor season 2.
All right. Okay.
A couple episodes in.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
It's a good show. All right. Okay. This one is kind of silly. There's not a lot of meat here, but you guys all remember the Embracer group, what's left of it or what became of it, or
how could I forget?
The toppling, teetering, are they part of it or not? Have you been embraced, let go, reconfigured? We don't know. They own a lot of properties. They absorbed a lot.
They ate the middle of the industry. They just straight up took a big honking chunk out of it.
Yes, and they've gone through a lot of different. I feel like over maybe a year ago or a year and a half ago, there was a lot of, oh boy.
Now we're divesting. We're selling some things back. Oh God.
They had a financial update, with a lot of slides, new Kingdom Come game, new Lord of the Rings game. They're the ones who made their separate houses. Do you remember this? Their separate houses with like, it's like a Bilbo Studio 1 or Lord of the Rings Studio, and I forget what they were all called.
Yeah, I mean, I think they literally just spun off. Fellowship was the name, was it?
Was it some department? Fellowship
Entertainment is the one that they just spun off, like today, actually, I think.
So they have, it's better than their creative house or whatever Ubisoft called their things, maybe slightly better. Anyway, they had a bunch of slides, but one slide, the 39th slide of the big update, had a list of, quote, under-leveraged games. And apparently they went on to say, we would like to activate these products. Now, Alex, as you have said, they kind of ate the middle of the industry. So I'm going to read these games for you now, and you will understand exactly what Alex means by that. They have on this list Time Splitters, Red Faction, Thief, Legacy of Kain, Saints Row, and Deus Ex. Now, in their time,
some big hitters.
Homecoming Kings and Queens. In high school, these were the what is it? The cock of the walk. These were the big games.
These days,
now they're Al Bundy.
Now
they're working in a shoe store.
Now they are reduced to under-leveraged brand equity that we intend to activate.
That's right.
That's the full line
from the slide.
It's not a good line.
Now they're on slide 39 with words like brand equity and under leverage. You know, I had a fucking arm like a piston. I could throw a football 40 yards.
I could properly leverage a brand like nobody ever saw before.
They made a franchise out of me.
Made 4 franchises in one game.
The Illuminati used to mean something.
So what this means, nobody knows. What Embracer means by this, nobody knows. This does, like you said, Brett, I think fall under Fellowship, their house of development for these things. Which one of these, Deus Ex, Saints Row, Time Splitters, Thief, Red Faction, or Legacy of Kain? I'll just put this as, because it's a silly thing, we don't know, but which one would you like to see? What would you like to see?
I mean, what are we talking? A whole brand new game?
Activated, I'll use their terminology, whatever that means to you.
That's so broad, though.
I know, of course it is. Let's say beyond a skin in a game, let's say some kind of playable version of something.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say brought back properly. I don't know, like Deus Ex and Thief are practically the same thing in terms of the gameplay focus.
It's interesting. Okay.
Like, I mean, they're both like that style of stealthy immersive sim.
Yep. Not coincidentally.
So probably one of those.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think Red Faction.
Yeah,
I want to see what you could do with Red Faction tech.
That was the other one. I'm sitting here thinking like,
okay, let me just fire back on that one though.
Uh-oh.
Cool physicsy shit is a little less novel than it used to be when those games came out. I'm not saying you can't still do something novel and cool with it, but I feel like it's not as special.
I'm going to push back a little bit because with all the advances in real-time lighting in the last few years, it's allowed them to get way more dynamic with environments. Like, that's the big problem with baked lighting, is that it renders the environment totally static.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there is new technology in the last few years where they could actually probably get pretty buck wild with Geomod 3.
Yeah,
could be some real shit.
I think Red Faction is the clear winner here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and also it's like Red Faction Guerrilla ended up being this really bummer evolutionary dead end where that game was rad, but could have used some expansion on the concepts. And then instead they went and made a follow-up to it that was just a fucking Gears of War clone, like up close cover shooter type game with like a little bit of Red Faction in it, but like a true successor to Guerrilla that just goes completely buck wild with all the like big environmental destruction could be pretty cool.
I think Saints Row still needs the cool for a bit. I think Saints Row, that's probably a harder one to. I know GTA is coming, and the
that's the thing. This is a terrible time to try and relaunch Saints Row.
And I know the evolutionary line split a long time ago, but let's Saints Row. That still needs. We're not there yet.
I think you need more distance from what happened to Volition before you start trying to like bubble up another one of those.
It's not on this list. What is it? Where's Just Cause? Are they?
Do they own that?
I don't
Sweden?
think.
I don't think so.
No, is that an Avalanche?
I think that's Avalanche.
Is that an Avalanche? I thought they.
Oh wait, they might actually. I don't know where that ended up.
Because remember, there were 2 Avalanches also, so we have to tease out which Avalanche went
Disney
where.
Avalanche.
I don't think Avalanche ever owned the property, but it was published by IDOS, and a fair amount of the IDOS IP did end up at Embracer. So
where are you, Just Cause?
Somebody would have to like hunt down the rights to that.
I would also just like to say military adventurism and regime change adventurism maybe now not the ideal time to be making a new video game in that space.
Oh, those games were so goofy about it, though. I know.
I'm not saying that Just Cause is actually problematic. It's too stupid to actually be problematic. I'm just saying there might be a little bit of a hurdle to clear there with some people.
You're not wrong.
I don't know who owns Just Cause. I cannot... Like, it was IDOS published it for a long time, and then Square Enix published the last one.
Okay.
And I don't know where the rights to it ended up after that.
Somebody help us find where Just Cause is. Yeah, you're right, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
We should go to Mars and destroy it.
Yes, that's a thing we can destroy all willy-nilly. Who gives a shit about what happens to Mars? Fuck it up. Scoop it all out. Let's do it.
Let me hollow out Mars so that by the time the rich people get there, there's nothing left there but just a fucking donut.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Jason Momoa was cast as Rico Rodriguez at one point in a movie?
Look, they were talking about a lot of bullshit for a while there.
Everything was getting some kind of film treatment at some point.
Maybe that's not why it's on this list. Wait, I went to a Wikipedia site and it says as of June 2022, a Wikipedia site. It's called Wikipedia. Mm-hmm. As of June 2022, a 5th installment in the franchise is currently in development. I'm going to assume this page has not been updated.
Yeah, no, that's way outdated. No, this says in November 2025, Avalanche co-founder Christopher Sundberg stated he believed Just Cause 5 will not release in the near future. Okay.
And then, he didn't say who's publishing.
And then later on, it was reported the game has been canceled.
Okay. Well, it is not on this list, maybe for very good reason. Maybe they don't own it. Maybe they don't own it.
Yeah, they may not. I don't see any mention of them here.
Red Faction. Anyway, how about Legacy of Kain? Anything?
Well, there's that was it Soul Reaver 3 is the one that's getting the remake right now? Did that not come out? I thought that came out. I don't think that's come out yet.
Yeah, I thought we saw that on a Planorama. Was that not
or was that it's Legacy? Wait, hang on. Am I thinking of Legacy of Kain Defiance? That did come out in March, actually.
Maybe.
Which that's not a Soul Reaver game, even though it's got Raziel in it.
I don't know anything about Legacy of Kain.
Vevictus. I'm just going to say Vevictus every time that franchise comes up.
I still think those video games are fake.
That first one was pretty cool.
No, I know they're real. I literally went to Crystal Dynamics when they were working on one at one point. I know they're real games, but they just feel fake to me because I've never really played them, and I don't really know anyone that ever played them. But I know they're out there. I know those people are out there.
I missed the Soul Reaver games entirely for some reason, but like people are very passionate about those games.
Kind of same here. And then there was the one that we didn't mention, which I know has a very loyal fan base, is Time Splitters. A game also that I don't have strong feelings about.
But some people do.
Some people really do.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I do feel like whenever Time Splitters gets brought up in the last decade, it's mostly to hurt people's feelings about there not being more Time Splitters.
Yeah, wasn't there one being worked on briefly in recent years, and then they couldn't get enough support for it or something like that?
Yes, Time Splitters 4, but this is from like 2007, so maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, Time Splitters is like kind of like downstream of GoldenEye, basically.
Sure.
Like some of
they're
the same
fun games.
Some of the same people who worked on GoldenEye went on to make Time Splitters, so
some of them are anyway.
You can kind of see why people were big on those.
There was a Time Splitters in 2005. Is that the original one?
Is that the most? No. That's the third one. Is that Future Perfect?
That's Future Perfect, yeah.
I think that might be the most recent one.
So 2000 is when the first one came out?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, yeah. Time Splitters again. I think I played one of them, but I just got nothing. I got nothing. Oh, maybe Time Splitters Next was the one? There's like in the Internet Games Database, there's a Time Splitters 4 and a Time Splitters Next and a Time Splitters Rewind.
I think Rewind is a fan game.
That's a fan one. You're right. Sorry. Yes. Time Splitters. Maybe Time Splitters Next is not. Nope. That's Free Radical before they were closed down. Okay. Anyway, Activate.
Those are some IPs, like you could do something with some of those probably.
You could.
Except
they should be on a Activated slide.
Except that, again, the middle budget AA or whatever you want to call it game is kind of dead at the moment.
Show me what you could do with Red. Just show me just do it as a super tech thing. I just want to see what you got. Make those Mars landscapes populated now with all sorts of buildings, not just like a water tower here and there. Like populate it. Give me a sledgehammer. Yeah.
Do you ever think about how whenever something like a story like this comes up, inevitably the conversation turns into what is essentially like an Urban X exploration of an abandoned factory as we try to figure out which studios or IP owners still even exist anymore?
Yeah, I mean, this one is particular because Embracer kind of...
they just closed a bunch of those factories recently.
Yeah, or they gobbled them up.
Divested them.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, not to kind of play off of what you just said, Alex, but do you guys remember where Deep Silver is? Are they
got embraced.
They were
embraced.
Did.
I can't remember if they're one of the ones that got out from under them or not. They do still exist.
Okay. I need a binder. I need a binder or something updated all the time. Or like, you know what? Maybe
they're not. They're Play On now.
Yeah, but Play On is what Coke Media used to be.
Yes.
Yeah. And wasn't Coke Media? I mean, they got
Play On owns Embracer Group, but like Deep Silver is its own division under Play On, I guess.
Other way around. Embracer owns.
Sorry, other way around. Yeah, sorry.
Embracer owns Play On, which owns Deep Silver.
So there's like layers here.
Okay. All right. We should move on. If we stare at this too long, it's like that's your eldritch horror. All right, Alex, our final story here is one of resolution. Finally.
This is very quick and very dumb.
Yes.
The Mad Bastards finally did it. Bullet Heaven, as a genre designation, has been blessed by the gods, and by that I mean Gabe Newell. Steam has officially classified Vampire Survivors and their likes as Bullet Heaven games, which is as good a name as I've ever heard for one of those, so I am 100% behind this.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Auto Shooter is the other one I've heard, but I just don't think that's as fun.
No, it's definitely less fun. It is much more explanatory, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it definitely makes more sense what you're hearing when you hear that.
It shoots for you automatically.
Yes, but at the same time, spiritually, Bullet Heaven is in fact a completely accurate description because it is just like a bullet hell, except that the bullets are emanating from you, not flying at you.
And frankly, when you really get the right build going and just start laying waste, it is pretty heavenly.
Yes. An ascendance
I won't disagree,
place.
Yeah.
You know, they added a couple of other tags here.
Yes.
Oh, yeah? What else we got?
Some of these I think are a little late. Wuxia is now a tag for.
And there's two, I think. Like, there's another Chinese one that is basically like an offshoot of Wuxia.
Yeah. You want to help me out here? Is it Shansha?
Yeah, I certainly don't. Shansha sounds right to me.
I think that's close enough. Yeah.
Xanxia. Falling Block, right?
Yeah,
sure.
How has Falling Blocks not been a tag already?
The one that I was like, how is this not a tag? Is poker. How have we not had a poker tag?
I'm sure they had like a broad card game tag before, and it's just there's now enough poker likes or poker things that it makes sense.
Ooh.
Yes.
Desktop companion.
I know. Does that tickle?
That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Games that only use part of your screen and keep you company while you do other things. What do we got in here?
What's in your desktop companion games?
Man. Desktop golf. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Okay.
Tiny pasture.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of good cast and chill.
Rapuka's Idle Island.
Of course.
Might have to check that anyway. This answers a question for me that I should have answered for myself before. I think like 3 different times on Planoramas, I have been like, are these tags user created or do they have to be like are they part of the system? And clearly they are the latter. Like tags are only in there if Valve blesses them, apparently.
That's a thing you could very easily abuse if you did not have oversight over that.
I mean,
I mean, how many?
Well, they would use an algorithm to do it. That's Valve style. They would write software to fix that, but whatever.
I do like that there were apparently enough capybara games.
Yes,
to get a capybara.
Also, wolves.
People love wolves.
You know,
also, wolves.
What kind of wolf games do we got on Steam?
Oh my gosh, what kind of wolf games? Is Symphony of the Night a wolf game? Does that count?
Maybe, I don't know.
Does it get a wolf tag?
There's not too many wolf tagged games as yet. There's a lot of bullet heavens though.
Oh, I bet.
Yes, there was a big explosion of those. I'd say roughly 2 years after Vampire Survivors came out.
Like if you just click through the 276 of them.
Did you know they deleted some tags?
No.
Did you know that Lego got deleted?
Oh, wow.
Did you know that NSFW, not safe for work, got deleted as a tag?
It's great news. Everything's safe for work now.
Did you know that Warhammer 40K was its own tag and has since been removed as a tag?
Oh.
I mean, they now make 7 of those games a year, so it's probably not worth having.
Under modified tags, Clicker has been renamed to Incremental.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
That's why I hadn't heard that term before.
Okay. Also, well written has been removed as a tag.
That one never applied.
Dungeons and Dragons has been removed as a tag.
Yeah, maybe they just got rid of all the trademarked tags.
That would make some sense.
Yeah. So anyway, tags, it's data, right?
Is Bullet Heaven really going to catch on the way that Metroidvania has, for example, which is another genre name that means nothing if you don't have the context for what it means?
It's true.
Do you think they might have taken out the D&D tag and things like that because maybe people were applying it to things? The system is very D&D-like in my game, but it is not Dungeons and Dragons like brand bless. Like, is Hasbro weird about that?
Maybe. I could see that, and that's why you take out all the trademark stuff.
Yeah, just get rid of it because it's like, okay, there's no real point to this because all it does is just get people complaining that like this isn't actually a Dungeons and Dragons game.
Yeah,
they say in here they pulled out a bunch of IP related tags because publishers already have franchise pages in which to collect those things.
Sure, that makes sense.
Well, that is gonna do it for the tags and the news of the tags.
The least upsetting news you will read today, probably.
Go check out
listen to
a bunch of Bullet Heaven game, or go check out some desktop companion games. And
hey, go play Red Faction.
if you can.
Can you?
I don't know.
I think at least one of those is still on Steam somewhere in some playable form.
Gorilla was at Games for Windows Live. Oh, wait, they put out the remastered edition of Gorilla. You can play that.
Is that still up? I mean, that was a couple of years ago.
That's not that old.
I think it's still up.
That was like right before the pandemic, I want to say. Yeah, 2018 is when that came out.
That's a lifetime ago now.
You can get that on Steam right now.
That's going to do it for the news, and that's going to do it for talking about Red Faction for now. A game I still, in my Red Faction 2 and Gorilla. I didn't really love Red Faction 1 that much, but Red Faction 2 and Gorilla.
I played it. I don't remember like loving it, but I remember the Geomod stuff in 1 being pretty mind-blowing at the time.
I just feel like they figured it out. Like they found their place.
Yeah, I mean, it became a different thing. Like, those games were first-person shooters originally. But
being able to do terrain deformation,
pretty cool back then.
Yeah, bring back it was a LucasArts game, the one with
Fracture.
Fracture.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
you reviewed that game 2 out of 5, if I recall.
Oh boy! Well, never been a better time to reactivate Fracture. Brad Shoemaker, we have an email address.
True.
That email address is podcast@nextlander.com. 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 Whether you're here on good old terra firma or digging your way through Mars, you can always send us an email. What do we got in the email bag?
First email comes in from me. Did you know you can get a copy of Fracture for the PlayStation 3 for $4.99?
Will that play on my PS5?
From GameStop? It will not.
Oh, bummer. Well,
You want to play some more Fracture? It's out there.
I think I played enough.
All right. Email from Zach in Virginia. 2 questions here.
Okay.
Question number 1. I have a 3 to 4 week long work trip coming up, the majority of which will be in a single hotel with evenings to myself. This has given rise to 2 questions. Number 1, for such a trip, would you bring a handheld console only or pack up a TV box?
Okay.
This is a road trip, so luggage concerns are minimal. And what would be your pick to bring and largely play offline, hotel Wi-Fi being universally bad?
So when you say TV box, or sorry, you're saying a console or handheld?
Yeah, I think he just means like a box of console stuff to hook up. This being a road trip changes everything.
I know,
because if this were an airplane trip, absolutely in no way would I bring anything other than handheld.
Yeah, because
even with it being, being a road trip, it's low stakes enough. You might as well give it a shot. But my experience of hotel TVs is pretty spotty for consoles.
Is it?
Like,
sorry, not is it? I don't mean that as accusatory. I mean, I don't know.
It's janky enough that
like they lock out the HDMI ports or something.
If the
some TVs do,
I think it's probably pretty common that the HDMI is accessible these days. There have been cases where you couldn't get to them, but the other thing is, I've experienced this even when you can. Sometimes for whatever reason, the TV in there, like there was an E3 where I brought my Switch and I had a little travel dock that I plugged in because we were there for a week. It was like, I might play some Zelda or something before I go to sleep. The input lag on the TV was like basically unplayable. It was
and you couldn't change any settings.
And I could not figure out anything to do to fix it. So at that point, it was basically useless. So
road trip, bring your own TV.
True.
Let's pack a TV.
That's an option.
I think for me, it said 3 weeks, right?
3 to 4 weeks. So that's
a pretty good chunk of time. I guess it would really depend what I'm like into right now. I think like, oh man, should I bring my PS5? Am I going to play some Saros like out in the field? But if you're experiencing the same thing you did with input lag, boy, that's going to be a miserable experience.
Yeah, but like portable-ish monitors are getting super cheap now, so that might be an option actually.
I think I would say 2 weeks is probably my cutoff for handhelds. I think 3 to 4, a month out there, is your reasonable console, like after 2 weeks, but you got to load it up because you're not going to get on that, Wi-Fi to download a 70 gig game. Right. So, maybe I would bring multiple handhelds, maybe I would bring something that's like
probably where I would lean.
Yeah. Like,
again, for a road
one of those
trip.
tiny Nintendos, just plug one of those in.
Yeah, like for driving, that would totally be fine. For flying, flying, I don't think I would ever bring more than one flying. But
what do you have, Brad? Currently, would it be a Switch 2?
Switch 2 would be my choice there.
Yeah, I just feel like if you're doing, I mean, think about a no. I don't know what the terms of this event are, but it sounds like they said they have evenings free, but a month of free evenings to me. I'm going to go from like 7 o'clock on, let's say you have a free evening, and let's just say you're crashing around 10 or 11 and you have to be up early because it's a work trip and whatever. That you can get a lot done. You can chew through some games. Like you might be done with your Switch 2 by the time you get through week 2, be like, oh man, I just put 15, 20 hours in this game. Plus, if it's a work trip where the weekends are, like you're off on the weekends and you got nothing to do and you're not seeing friends, man, forget it. Yeah, bring your whole game catalog. You just be done.
Sure. Yeah, I didn't think about weekends actually. That does kind of change the calculus.
I mean, you might be obligated to do stuff. I feel like since when we go to California for like E3 or something, it was usually one weekend over, and so there were enough people you could visit to eat up a weekend. So it wasn't like I was sitting around playing games.
E3, it was not a lot of downtime for stuff like that.
No. And then I feel like if I had another weekend there, though, then I might start running into like, okay, well, a little lighter weekend. 4 weekends there. I don't know. People would be like, I don't want to see you anymore. I saw you already. So yeah, I'd say console. I'd say risk it for the biscuit with the console and plug something in and go get yourself, I don't know, some big chunky game to go play on a console. Only thing I ever played on a TV, I think I was on a TV, not a laptop, was Soma during the end of year stuff. When people give
Game
awards. Yep, that's the one. With I wound up playing, I think with Austin. I think it was a sharing room with Austin. We wound up playing through.
Yes, I also played it over a couple nights around that same time because you guys were like, oh, you should check this out. And
yeah. Good game.
Sure enough, one of my favorite games of that generation.
Good game. Good game. All right. Another email?
There's another question here. How many days in a hotel will you go between having housekeeping clean up? Every day? Every other day? Longer?
A week.
Wow.
I do a whole week.
Okay, where do towels figure in there? Is the one question.
I could reuse a towel for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I listen, they're there to do a job. I'm not going to go in there and demand they clean my shit every single day, but I would say that if they wanted to come in and change out my sheets or towels like every other day or every couple of days, I'd be totally fine with that.
Yeah, for a long-term stay, I'd probably say like every 3 days for me. Ish.
Maybe
4.
I think a week for me. Probably after the weekend or the week. I'm not saying I'm leaving a trash pit in there.
Yeah, I don't leave
I would
any.
keep it very tidy.
Like it's literally just towels, basically.
Yeah.
And in fact, like the hotel I stayed at for Summer Game Fest the last couple of years, you could just go get your own towels.
Yeah.
So I never had them clean the room because you could just get more towels whenever you needed them. So I was like, I'm fine.
Yeah, like I'm easy. Like you know, let the data centers use the water. I don't need to add my.
You're right.
Yeah, my towels to the water.
They need it more.
They earned it. they yeah. But I think after a week, I'd probably be like, somebody's gonna clean all this stuff for me, and that's okay. The thing my bigger question is like, okay, at that point, after a month, you are probably has probably at least seen the rotation of people servicing your room, right? That have, if maybe you say hi, maybe you don't, but you've seen them enough. How big a tip do you leave in the room for the housekeeping after a month of staying? You're basically living there. Not like $100 tip you leave out there. I mean, these are like your friends.
You want to spread it
now.
around, right?
I don't know. Like
you can't guarantee it's the same person cleaning the room every day. So you'd want to like spread it out across the month rather than all at the end.
I've never known what you're supposed to tip a housekeeper. Like I try to do it whenever I'm there for more than like a night, but like I've never really actually understood what
it's a weird one
is.
And I don't know enough people that work in that industry to know if all places pull tips or if it's, if you get tipped on the room. Like you just said, Brad, is the last person who is in your room get it, or do they pull them, especially during holidays? I have no idea, actually.
Hey, if you're out there and teach me something, please. I would love to actually know. And
if you're in that industry and you're like, this is a responsible tip, or this is I don't want to piss anybody off, but like I feel like a couple of days with a not messy room, like $20 is I feel like where I would probably land, but I don't know, a month. Man, I'm not going to name names, but I did room with some real messy room people.
Oh yeah.
Especially during Tokyo trips.
Yep, I remember that.
Oh boy.
I remember somebody in particular had a stated policy of nobody comes in the room, no cleaning staff come in the room the whole time we're here.
And it was very, very messy. And like I'm not comfortable with that. Like I will take my own trash. I think I did wind up taking my own trash out of the room at some point. I mean, we kind of like lived and did terrible things to those rooms. Anyway,
sounds like you really lived.
Really did. I'll funny anecdote. I think I've told this before, but I wound up buying one of those giant things of green tea in Japan, the big like family size ones, and I had never really had green tea. It's like a cold drink, and I wound up just like drinking like half the thing to 3/4 of the thing. And felt like I was gonna explode.
Yeah, I bet.
That was there's caffeine.
That's a lot of caffeine.
Yeah,
I did not know that. Pro tip. That's caffeine in that. Anyway, another email.
Nick from Camberwell, London. Collecting things is really fun. Having a collection of things is rubbish. Discuss.
Yep. Yeah.
Strong
100%
agree.
right.
Strong agree. And you might even extend that out to say, wanting is fun, having is rubbish.
Oh, okay. You're right. Spirit, like generally, you're right. But there are things in my collection that I'm still genuinely happy to have, and when I look at them, they do still inspire a certain amount of joy in the knowledge that it is there, and I can look at it whenever I want. But the technical reality of managing a collection, holding a collection, figuring out where to put a collection, how to take care of a collection, all of that, yeah, that's all garbage.
Don't disagree.
Yeah,
but there are gradations. I think the act of collecting is also shit in these times because of the exclusives, the bots trying to it's a nightmare.
I'm not speaking to the industries that inspire these collections and feed on people's need to collect these things and what the current state of it. Yeah, no, that's all trash. Like these days, it's a bad scene because they have figured out how to effectively milk people the most efficiently with all this stuff.
It's
broadly
really terrible. So what I previously would have said, yeah, man, like putting together a collection can be really fun. Now putting together a collection can be very stressful if you're trying to be a completionist, because you're like, I missed this one dumb thing, and now it's 800 times as much on the secondary market because it sold out in 30 seconds and a website crashed, and I didn't get an alert when I was supposed to get an alert, and this fucking sucks. Why do I even fucking do this? But now I'm stuck with 99.9% of this collection, except for this one dumb thing.
Well, that's all right. Let me just check in with my brain real quick and make sure that I'm going to be okay missing that one thing from the oh, nope, it's screaming at me. It's just screaming.
Totally.
Like, it's just incoherent screaming, and it won't stop until I get it.
Every day of my life. So then you dump the collection because why would you collect something if you can't collect the complete collection? And that's my problem is I think a collection can be beautiful if you have meaningful pieces to you that are on display, and you're like, I have 5 meaningful parts of this 1,500 piece collection, and they're on display, and it's beautiful,
yeah,
and it's gorgeous. Or if you've got the space, you're a museum, and you're like, I've got a collection. I've got every Nintendo game graded in plastic in my Nintendo game museum space.
Yeah, but do you have every important version of every NES game graded?
You have everything.
Do you have the New York test area initial run of Super Mario Brothers, or do you just have the regular Super Mario Brothers?
You have it all.
I don't know if anybody has that.
If you had enough money, you could have that.
You
right?
could, but not everyone has been able to track down.
Not necessarily.
Tracked everything.
That's exactly. Well, not only that, but I mean, in some cases there are so few of them that other people might have them and might not be willing to part with them.
Okay, if you were a top tier billionaire, you don't think you could say, I will give you?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their price. Like,
everybody's got a price, right?
Probably, but.
First of all billionaires are bottom tier. We all know this. That's F tier.
I just meant upper. I guess if
you have those kinds of resources at your disposal.
You're right, Alex. If you're a billionaire, you already have those resources.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes I think if I had unlimited money, would I collect more or less? Like, would my collection be like? Would I collect Masterpiece Transformers, or would I be like, I bought the original prototype of Optimus Prime. I have one piece in my collection. It's a wooden Optimus Prime that was a prototype.
It's this shit right here. Here you go.
And nobody else has this. But when I look at, I collect coins, and I think that's fun. I liked closed, and that's an open-ended collection. I like closed collections. I like collections with an end. And that's something you can complete. And at some point, I will have a version of every Transformer from Generation 1, and that collection will be done. And then I will burn that collection, and I will free myself from the demon that is collection.
There you go.
That is collecting.
And that demon is Starscream.
And the ghost of Starscream will be set free. But until that time, I will anxiously refresh pages so I don't miss out on a release, because I'm an idiot.
No, you're not an idiot. You're not an idiot. You're just susceptible to the same shit a lot of us are. I have the same collector brain. It happens.
I do not, and I'm very thankful for it.
Yes.
Like I no shade on anybody and how they want to spend their time and money and
shade away
and free space, but The older I get, the more burdened I feel by the physical things I do have.
Yeah.
To the point that if I could bring myself to get rid of more stuff, I absolutely would. Like, I am
just
never
don't bring it into the house.
I am never again going to assemble a big bulk of stuff again. I don't think. Now, I'm very lucky to be friends with people who are very into video game collecting, which lets me like see and hear about a lot of cool stuff without having to actually be the one chasing it down and storing it and restoring it and all that stuff. So like, I definitely get to live vicariously through some people I know in a way that's really fun. And I enjoy that they do it for their own satisfaction, but I just, I need to get rid of more things around here, not have more things.
I'm with you. There is a burden to a collection sometimes that feels, but there's a joy. So it's a tough one.
Now let's talk about collecting data, which doesn't take up space.
No, it definitely doesn't take up space.
Not physical, not spatial space.
I mean, it does take up physical space.
Yeah, but I mean, it's very concentrated, you know.
It is a very concentrated space.
But then there's a lot of data.
You can have 100 albums or 10,000 albums in the same amount of hard drive physical volume.
I mean, I got a server rack. That's taking up physical space. Also, it takes up so much electricity.
Yeah, it sure does.
Oh, man. It's everything. Everything. Any more emails? Gotta stop talking about this before I have to go call a therapist.
There's one more that's actually pretty related to this.
Okay.
Jacob from soon to be Houston.
Okay.
My family is moving soon, and while packing, I've come across our old consoles in storage, such as my wife's N64 and GameCube, Xboxes, and PS2 through 4, etc. Our new house has much more room, and I'd love to display them in some way.
Yes.
Any ideas or displays you've seen before that you think would look cool? Glass case or coffee table, floating shelves around the TV, etc. What are your craziest and coolest ideas? I don't see myself going back and playing them, so getting them down and plugging them in isn't a concern.
I have two answers to this because I've thought about it quite a bit. One is I cannot remember the site. I have it in like a simple note document then when I came to it, but they were, and this is when I was researching this, it was before everybody had 3D printers, but 3D printing stands for them, putting them on a shelf. And there was a site, somebody else might know it if you check in the comments for the show, that had really nice, like 45-degree tilted displays and displays for the controller per console that were like made per console. I always thought those were really nice, that display. The other thing that I think would be the coolest way to do this, and I haven't figured out a great way to do it, is to do an exploded version of the console and then freeze it in resin. And I think like a block of an exploded console with all the buttons and stuff coming out, and have that frozen and cast it in resin, I think would be the coolest way. Yeah. Remember that book, that tabletop book that had all the exploded? That was so cool. And I think having those in a giant block of resin would be very, very
cool.
That's a lot cooler than anything I had in mind.
There's a company that does that with like iPhones and handhelds like the DS and stuff. You can get like a framed iPhone. In fact, I think you can send them your device and they'll do it for you. Like,
but it's flat, right?
But it is flat. It's a frame that hangs on the wall because it's a small handheld device and it's all the parts.
Even parted out, I think is still pretty cool.
Yeah.
I granted that's a particular thing. I think parting stuff out and putting it on the wall looks cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it. I don't know if it's currently accessible on Giant Bomb. I'm guessing not yet. Maybe it'll come back later. I recorded an office tour of Randy Pitchford's office at one point. Like in the old days, before Randy Pitchford was Randy Pitchford. This was before Borderlands 1 came out. I believe I was there to play pre-release Borderlands 1. But he had done that in his office. I think it was all his own consoles from growing up or from back in the day.
Done exploded or just
no, not exploded. I think they were mounted on like pipe. There was like a kind of a stand. There was like a metal stand made out of like piping. It was just like, here's his NES and his Genesis and his Super Nintendo and just like on and on around the room.
Yeah.
Like I've thought about doing something like that with my consoles because I am the same way. I'm never going to get rid of them because they're too sentimental. Like I'm too attached to the consoles I grew up with. But I also don't really care about hooking them up and playing them because there's too many modern ways to play the games in a very accurate enough form that I just don't care that much about old. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I might get there someday. I'm not sure how, though. I don't know if that's glass case or just some shelves or what, but Better than having them languish in storage, I feel like, is to at least
that I agree with.
Put them out so you can see them.
So I have an extremely basic way of dealing with this, which is that I just bought one of those like IKEA cube shelves where they have like the different cubes, and then I just put different old consoles in each one of them. So if I want to go behind there and rewire them into the TV in my office, I can do that. But for the most part, they're just there because, hey, I have easy access to them. You can see them. I'm probably not going to use them that often.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I think the only thing I would get hung up on there is having to dust them all the time. But
you do have to do that a fair amount.
But that's not that big a deal. Also, there's like a lot of hardware out there where, yeah, like you said, you could actually kind of get them all up and running.
Oh, yeah.
And like there's that scalable video switch that I've talked about before, which is just a big modular video input-output thing where you can add more inputs to it as desired. I think it'll take up to 32 different inputs.
Jeez, okay.
So you can hook up as many consoles with different video inputs as you want, analog ones, I mean, and they all output out of one output. So you could like hook all your consoles into that and run them all into the same thing. In fact, there are aftermarket power supplies coming out now for hooking up like tons of consoles to one brick.
Oh, okay.
I just saw this recently. Somebody put out a retro-focused like big power brick with a bunch of universal ports on it.
Sure.
And then they sell cables that plug into like, here's the one for the Genesis and the Super NES and the
that's clean and
PlayStation
smart,
1 or whatever. And it was like this brick will drive X number of, like, it has like 8 outlets on it or something like that. So you could like buy the one power supply to power all your old consoles. So there's all kinds of options for actually running those things now.
But I think on a display, I would say don't sleep on the lighting. I feel like the light, if you're going to display it nicely, nice lighting can get you 80% there and go from something that looks like it is sitting on a shelf to something that looks like it's displayed on a shelf.
Yes, and I have not invested in the lighting. And let me tell you, it looks like it's sitting on a shelf.
Yeah. And if you're looking for a display, I will someday display mine as well. I just had my Super Nintendo out and was like, oh man, this baby has yellowed.
Oh yeah.
It's been in the basement. It has yellowed.
The front of my NES looks like a door got opened into it at one point.
Ooh.
Both my NES controllers, I pulled some stupid ass decals out of Nintendo Power and put them on, little overlays. One of them, I think one of them is like New Year's 1990 or something like that. It's fun to go back and see all the dumb shit you did to your consoles.
But I feel like that displays nicely. Like I feel like we're all not talking about having a mint condition console.
Yeah, no, it is 100% because these were the things I had growing up and they were very formative for me. Yeah, and
the Super Nintendo one though, I did look into being like, man, is RetroBrite? Has the jury come back in on retrobrighting stuff? Is it safe? Is it not? Is peroxide safe or not?
I've never done it. I've never gotten a straight answer on. Some people say that it makes the plastic more brittle.
Yes, or that it'll just go again, and then you'll actually have streaks on it because you've done it sometimes. I don't think I would do it.
Yeah,
the coin collector in me says just leave it as it is and don't mess with it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
But yeah, if you ever wind up doing it, please send in a photograph. I'd like to see what you've done. Good luck with the move. All right, should we call it there?
Yeah.
Displaying stuff can be really fun, I think, even more so than collecting, if you've got the room to display it.
That's a significant if.
Yeah. Man, this is the thing with collecting, too. A crowded display versus a spread out, nicely lit display, such a difference. It's
very much so. It's the thing I need to invest in at some point for some of my stuff because, again, a lot of what I have just kind of looks like it's sitting there. You know?
I know. It's hard. I run into this with the Transformers. And I can have 100 Transformers and it'll look like a crowded display. And if I got rid of all of them but one and put a nice light on it, people would be like, whoa, what is that? That's and I'd be like, oh, that's my Transformer collection. Versus the big display would be like, are these your kids' toys? Like kind of thing. It's just such a different vibe.
Definitely.
All right. That's going to do it for the show here. Thanks for all the emails. Again, you can send the emails in to podcast@nextlander.com. I will mention this because if you're listening to this on the premium feed, you probably didn't get the ad, but we mentioned this before on a patron Q&A. Stan Kwan, who worked with us at Giant Bomb, and if you're over on the Discord, you might have seen an announcement about it. runs a company that does focus group testing for game development. You know, you're making a game, you're making your product, you need to get it in front of people. And Stan will try to get a bunch of people together to go play the game and get feedback. Matt Rory is working with him over there. He came to us and was like, this is going to be a short version here because we're not doing the ad here, but just so you know, came to us and was like, I need better people. I need better, like, you guys talk to people who actually know what they're talking about with video games. I need those people when they're testing out games because the developers are actually listening to these people. And I need people who know what they're talking about. So if you go over to our Discord on no matter if you're free or on the Patreon, you should be able to go and it's an opt-in thing. You have to go into the React for roles. You'll see an announcement there. You can go check it out. I'm not going to go into the whole process here, but just know that you have the ability to go sign up for Beta Hat is Stan's company, and you can go check that out. I think it's cool. I personally would probably do it if I didn't feel ethically challenged, let's say, with doing a focus group for an upcoming game. I'm always curious how those things go and seeing early games and what's changed. And apparently you also get compensated for it. So just wanted to throw that out there in case you're listening to the ad-free version of the podcast and we're interested in that, because I do think it might be a cool thing. Aside from that, Alex Navarro, we are getting close or wrapping up our documentary season here.
Yeah, I think for the most part. I mean, we are wrapping up the schedule that we have already made here. Harlan County, USA is up for patrons right now. We will be recording Apollo 11 this week.
Yeah.
And then we will talk about what we are doing in June and beyond for the Watchcast.
Star Trek Summer.
I think we're leaning toward a Star Trek Summer. Exactly what structure that will take, we will have more to say about that at the end of the Apollo 11 episode.
We played some Subnautica 2. Brad, what'd you think?
That's cool.
It's cool. Yeah. Early access. It's got multiplayer out of the gates.
It's more of that. It sure looks nice, though.
Yeah, it's some nice underwater survival crafting. We played that with Will Smith, who we've even got a base set up. Or we're working on, might go back to that and try and see if we can get a sub going. Time to submarine. We'll see. And on Friday, I'm not sure, but I still think we should go back and pirate ship and see what and close the loop on having our big pirate ships.
I can see it.
That's an option.
Yeah,
I guess we could grab bag it. I could play some TerraTech Legion. I don't know.
There are games coming out. We're still, as of the time of this recording, we're still TBD because we have so many great options. And then, like we mentioned before, on Tuesday we played more Directive 8020 with Abby Russell, and you can I won't spoil anything here, but you can see all of the amazing decisions we've made on the perfect run of a Directive 8020. That's all up now on the Patreon, the Watchcast, the Ramblecast, the Cast of Casts, all the stuff there. Never Been a Better Podcast will be this Thursday. Well, I will definitely yell at Jeff Bakalar about this revealed Transformers pinball machine. That'll be up next week. Patreon.com/Nextlander, the best place to support us in these very weird times. Folks who have done that, we really appreciate it. There is one tier there that gets their names read on this here show. There are a lot of tiers there, but there's only one that gets their names read on this here show. It's the Mysterious Benefactors tier. Alex Navarro, do you mind reading those names for us this week?
I suppose I could be convinced if you were real nice, but you were nice. It's fine. We'll do it. The Mysterious Benefactors for this week are Roasted Mechanical Spider. The good vibes will continue until morale improves. Alpha Rhythm. OpenAI Delenda Est. David L. Kelly F. Brian Lucier. Skywarp. Jason Grimm. John Hubbard. Thordreen. Evan Cook. Jerry Lee. Deirdre's Idyllic Dream. Pugtato. Pup is my name. Hashtag Bunny for Work. Jad Rita. Statics. Maybe today's the day it happens. Brian Murphy. Randy Duax. Randy Alderson, Andrew Tiebkin, Alex Wu, It Me JP, Edward Chick, Steve Lynn, Matthew Herrig, David Campos, and Tyler Treese.
Thanks again to all our mysterious benefactors, and thanks to everybody who has gone and supported us at patreon.com/Nextlander.
Roasted mechanical spider?
Roasted
mechanical spider.
Man.
Yeah. That's, hey, look, you get the name in there. Now, I'm not saying
that's a newcomer.
We'll always read every name in there, but we do like seeing the names, and we like seeing the names in any tier that has gone over to patreon.com/Nextlander and support us. You might think the mysterious benefactors are the only tier out there supporting old Nextlander, and I know you've heard these names for a long time. They're near and dear to your heart, but there are many, many other people out there supporting Nextlander on the Patreon, and we appreciate all of them. And you can go there and support us as well. You not only support us by helping us bring on guests, you support us by helping us do all the free content we do over on Twitch and YouTube, because I'll tell you what, a little peek behind the curtain, the Twitch and YouTube stuff, that ain't paying the bills. Yeah. So
not remotely.
That's a nice bonus that we're able to do because of the generous support we get from our patron supporters over at patreon.com. So if you're listening to this and you've thought about it, now I sound like the NPR pledge drive. If you're listening to this and you've thought about it, please go over and see what you can do and support us there. Maybe you want to go and just bump up an extra tier for a month and go check out what's been sitting in that tier for all this time. It's been sitting there waiting for you. That's okay. Go check it out.
I'm sitting here doing mental math right now.
Yeah.
There might be no, that can't be right. I'm trying to figure out if there are over 1,000 podcasts contained in this Patreon. And I don't think we're quite there yet, but we can't be that far off.
We'll find the number.
There's 179 episodes of the Watchcast.
This podcast and the Ramblecast are both about 500 episodes.
Okay.
Just those two.
Together. There's a Never Been a Better podcast.
There's 30-ish of those, right?
Yeah. There's over 30. There's
Planorama is like 50-something now. Q&A, I think, is also around 50-something.
There's video versions of the
well, I'd say...
I think that doesn't count.
I will be conservative there and say one episode is one episode, but I think we're getting close.
We're much closer than we are far away.
Across everything.
And you can go check that out. It's all waiting for. Plus older stuff too. There's when I was drawing stuff there in the mornings. Vinny draws from memory. That's there. All these things are waiting for you over on the Patreon. And like Brad said, we're gonna have a Patron's Choice coming up. Where you'll be able to vote on what we play as another benefit of the Patreon. Mm-hmm. So. Check all that stuff out. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much for supporting us. Even if you can't, your support is welcome. Your good vibes are welcome. Stay, I don't know what you stay out there, grounded, I guess, out there in these times. Like we started this podcast. I know I sometimes am just shaking with frustration out there. I think this community is awesome. It's fun to even just go pop in on the Discord and share some of that in the current events channel we have there. Mm-hmm. And gotta be like, what is happening? And have a great community out there to be like, I know. But thanks everybody for being cool out there. Thank you, Alex Navarro, for being cool out there.
I'm doing my best. It's pretty warm.
Thank you, Brad Shoemaker, for being cool out there.
Pretty warm here too.
Great. It's hot. Never been hotter out there. Thanks everybody for being cool. We'll be back next week with more of the Nextlander podcast. See ya.